high on the surprise contest, but never see it come in when the other teams are paying just as much attention.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Curve, Shadow, and Tyler are just trying to hide, cutting off a loot path towards the bird. They left all the chests, the floor loot, everything. Hoping that Aoxy, Jojo Fishing, their trio can take the bait. This is one of those situations where it's like, I should have seen that coming, but it's something you don't expect either.
I love this. I love when we see teams really pull out the dirty strategies. Oh, the big shotgun shot, the piece up. I mean, what can you do? Aoxy pulled that Typhoon Blade out. Try to get it on, but
it's only hope. The shotgun could only hit one person. He's like, you know what? Let me at least make the effort. Try to Typhoon Blade. Okay, so now they're just jumping on the team on the outskirts yet again. Rapid, Kanata, Bolts, Demons, Dojo, and this is something that team that lands there needs to start to really think about how they're going to get their loot and move out quick, because this is so isolated on this side of the map. Almost every single game, Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts have the option to do this, whether they get the eliminations or just put pressure to get their Storm Surge. It's their choice, especially if the zone isn't too far away from their actual POI.
It's the second time they've kept playing this outside as well, right? Just looking for that action here. Last time they did get into a bit of a skirmish, but all in all, time to double back. Let's jump in with Peterbot. What a performance last round for Peterbot, man. Really putting up the numbers. It's one thing to do it, you know, online from the comfort of your home and your usual setup, but we have seen him perform in person. We've seen it firsthand. This global championship that just passed, I mean, exceptional work from him and Boyo. So there's nothing they can't do, right? And then they're fighting for the medallion every game. If they're trying to really have that advantage over the lobby, clearly it goes a long way in the hands of someone like Peterbot.
And you're kind of like noticing where Peterbot from Flooded Frogs all the way to the west, relatively clear. There's not too many teams that land on this side. You go to the right though, Creon, Tony, they already lost Zeus. There's two more trios fighting just on the outskirts. They're using that as a distraction to try to disengage. Hopefully they have the reboot card, because then this in turn will be a free reboot, getting their teammate Zeus back into the game. And it just goes to show how one team on that side of the map, you can throw Acorn, Aegis, and Boyo on the other side, really did take the base.
The office in the group stage and not even being close to the top 5 to qualify.
Previous game winners now under pressure here from Skittles, Victor, and Chimp.
That was until game 4.
So on the highlight, Rio,
the entire of this game, they played
key elimination onto Peterbot, getting that medallion really set him up for success there.
And getting a couple of eliminations in the mid-game to top up their heals and materials going into the end game. Because of this earlier work, they were able to be a lot less aggressive in the early stages of end game when it came to damage and refreshes. When the
trying to put pressure, since they don't necessarily take that Magic Mosses fight right out of the gate,
eliminations to tank Storm,
because that contested fight's just a little bit too risky. We saw both teams kind of win and lose that spawn fight off out of the gates yesterday, so I like this different approach. Just all a matter of
now as a solo,
those teams around them rotate toward the south, give them the opportunity right now for G Money, OSID, and Seek. Both teams looking to kind of stay around this location, just kind of looting up the scraps. You see at least half of their material missing as well, so they got to start thinking, where am I going to get the metal? Where am I going to get the rest of that brick?
Now dropping down,
it's on the feed there. Peterbot flying DC also rotating up the outskirts, so just falling right into Peterbot's hands. And we're highlighting how dynamic they've been for their team to go ahead and go back to playing the west side, right? It just
propelling his team
continues to
for more incredible
into their favor
just
right
like
now.
These 2 wins. Don't miss groups 2 and 3.
Every single game, a little bit different. Shout out to Visuals with the camera on right here. We love to see our competitors really participate and give us that behind the scenes look here. It's definitely a nice little treat, and this is what you need to do right here. Get your farm on, get these fish going, really build up the reserves.
And usually when they have the surge, they're definitely in the game. As we check a look at Think about how they got that elimination onto DC. DC, we know he was left by himself, and that's just the sad thing. Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold rotated all the way towards Whiffy. But remember early on in the game, so that Whiffy team pushed south to go ahead and try to get that Noah Plays elimination. So inevitably, Peterbot going for the chase, they end up finding DC trying to backtrack and get those reboot cards. And that's where that first of 2 eliminations was able to get picked up. And as soon as they do, you see them rotating all the way back towards the east. It's almost like a copy and paste for the most part of their game plan early on.
That's right. Everything's starting to piece together. I want to see what is it about Acorn, Agers, and Colts, or Warriors early game there that is allowing them to find success with the Surge, because clearly we've seen emphasis on how Peterbot really forces almost the engagements at times, right, in kind of their early game.
Like who's opening up, who's the one kind of getting that first shield cracking shot. So right now, I know they at least got good damage on the sails. Batman Booga did, as he was trying to void orb away, but as they all kind of reunite in that same structure over across, it's a little bit too risky for Clix, Batman Booga, and Yamzo, considering how consistent they've been playing so far today. Oof. They're going to just continue to follow each other. The zone moves over, so they haven't really had to move far from their POI. So just like one of the games that we've seen earlier on today, I want to see them do exactly what Yamzo is doing. You know, players are going to rotate to your zone, set up, try to get that damage early, and maybe send one person down below to fish.
This is exactly what I wanted to see. What is this team doing right now to find their activity, to remain so consistent? Boyo, Agers, and Acorn seemingly have found themselves just ahead of the rest right now, and Boyo's playing a huge Storm Surge tower here. They seemingly have just split up, just full control of almost the center area here. Foxy Floodgate's still in sight as well, so they've got full visuals here on any teams rotating up, even outside of the Nightshift Forest.
And you see how spread out they are. They're covering as much ground as possible. Got to know exactly where so many other teams are. It's Vidil, Cooper, Sphinx. They typically do stay in and around Mass Meadows for quite some time. That's how they're usually getting surged on the whole eastern side of the map. But that's Olaf, Maxi, Smiley that are slowly but surely moving in towards Max. And that's a team that we saw kind of struggling for Surge, fighting on the outskirts, a little bit more south from Max Meadows. Now they move north. They're still trying to take that same approach in order to get their Surge, but they got to be careful. It's against Sphinx, Vidil, and Cooper. We saw how massive Vidil went in that last game.
Yeah, definitely. Literally staying alive. Somehow finding the refresh, picking up 2 eliminations. I mean, he was doing it all. Really putting up the numbers for this trio here. Let me just take a look at this leaderboard. Where did that even put them after such a great performance from him? Just kept them in 3rd. Tied, by the way, 474. As a V-Movie and Threats rocket their way up as well with a near mirror performance. So yeah, just all around, it was a critical game for them. Curve, Tyler, and Shadow, though, what just happened here? Picking up already their 3rd elimination in the game. Keep eyes on them there, as they're just being the disruptors of the lobby here. But Sphinx, Vidil, and Cooper have a long way to go before they get outside the zone, and there seems to be a lot of teams enjoying their time in the storm here.
This is kind of one of those things when you look at a team just like this, they have about like 3,000 storm damage taken. So it's not necessarily the worst, but they're doing this so that they can rotate with a lot of these teams towards the outside, knowing they can't necessarily box up and play safe. And that's how they're accumulating their surge.
What's going on, Fortnite fam? Welcome back to the FNCS.
And it's kind of working out for the most part. They've only taken 17
to make it
storage
through
hits
straight to the Major 1
these
finals
9 games so
before
far.
the last chance qualifier. Now is do or die. We want to make that happen right here because we don't want to wait that long. We don't want to fight through that separate gauntlet.
Of the zone.
We're breaking down what
They
we've
seem
seen
to be
today. The
coming
new
back towards
trios
the Flooded
coming in,
Frogs
and of
right
course
now.
our expectations on the day. But I need 2 friends to help me do that. It's Kelly Link. It's Vivid. Your friends, you know them, you love them.
Glad to see they were able to get Zeus back.
Anyway, Kelly, it's great to see you. How are you
Every
doing?
member matters. Lisa gives
I'm
them a
good.
fighting
I'm great.
chance.
I feel so much
Even if it's
better
kind
now.
of scraps.
I'm so excited
that
to
you
be
gotta
here with my
search for.
friends and to all of you watching as well.
You
We're
can
going to
kinda
be
worry about
finding
that later.
10
Puga
more
getting a knock
teams
onto Curly
that
in
will
the
be
feed.
going into the Major 1 finals.
imagine, was
And I
that
mean, Zeke,
probably
I
just
feel like
south
Group 1
of
was a bit of an appetizer.
Warriors,
Yesterday, we got
where
the
they were
main
able to probably
course,
get that
but
elimination,
now
but
it's
there's
time
so
for
much
dessert.
action going down around the map.
Love
I
the way
think
that you went
teams
ahead and
are kind of
put
learning on the
that
fly.
there,
They're
Kelly.
realizing their
Space is
position
kind
on the
of running out.
leaderboard.
We've
And
already
this
got
is
20
day
great
2
teams
with
in
almost
the
half
finals.
game's
Still
already
got
over.
room for
Timing
10
is of
more,
the
though. It's going to
essence
be very,
if you
very
want to move
interesting
up
how
that
Group
leaderboard.
3 kind of shakes
It's
it up.
insane.
Maybe
There's
they've
5
learned something
teams in
from
the
how
pocket
Group 1
right
and Group
here,
2
and
played
then
out.
2 rotating on the outside.
Let's hope, man. Because
just
again,
a messy
with that last
situation
chance
going down right
qualifier
now, but
looming, we want to try and make
this
that
is what
qualification happen
happens when
today.
teams
Let's take a look
rotate
at
in
that
a little
format in
late.
case maybe you've
And
not been keeping up with Fortnite
just from
since
studying, there's other
2025.
trios that are
Basically, today we're
definitely
playing for the
playing these
Victory Royale,
zones.
which will auto-qualify us, or to end the day in the top 5 in consistency.
goes the
But
Bios, show
Kelly,
the arena,
again, that
clicks,
last
and
chance
Yamzo, they're already
qualifier, it's going to get much
isolated
harder to
Batman
qualify
Booga
for
for
that.
just a little bit.
Yeah,
Tries
and
to
it's
orb
open
away,
up to all
but he ends
divisions,
up
so we
getting
can expect
glided
a lot
upward.
more
Good
teams
damage for
competing,
Peterbot, Ritual, and
and
Cold.
only
Forcing up,
3
they were
of
unable
those
to get
trios
that
are going to be able to
elimination.
make it into
You
the
can
major
see
finals,
what that's
David.
done to their damage.
Yeah, I mean, how stressful is that,
319
right? Like,
above
we've
the
already got
damage
some teams
threshold.
kind of
Which is
sweating it out
surprising
that
because
did
I feel
not
like
qualify
every
through
single game
groups
so
1
far,
and
from
2, and now Group
1200
3
to
is like,
500, now
oh, look at that, it's
300,
almost
less
our
and less
time to play.
damage
We don't
as they
qualify
reach the
today.
top of
We're
the
also going to
arena
have to
every
go to
single
that
game so
last chance
far.
qualifier, which is crazy because, like Kelly mentioned,
The real question
open
is, do we
to
think
all
they
the
took down the
divisions
Moss
there. So it's
yet?
kind of like its own tournament of itself.
Clicks,
But there's
Batman
only
Booga
3 who come out on top.
Clicks has saw
Super,
a
super
lot
scary.
of success with that medallion too,
Scary
right?
stuff. That's a future us problem,
they're
right?
definitely
Right
here to
now, we
fight
just got to
for it.
focus in
I
on
don't think
E3.
any of these
Let's talk
trios
about some
wanna
of the
give it away
trios we'll be seeing
easily.
here today. Let's start really simply here.
The
Rabbit,
push onto
Kanata,
Clicks, so he's
Bolts.
gotta
I mean,
be careful,
Kanata,
but
long
he
time
had
veteran
his
of the
Void
scene.
Oni mask
Bolts,
ready.
a
Talk
champion in
about
his own right.
preparation.
Rapid, an
now
absolute
that's it.
legend. What can we expect from this
Tricks
trio
out the
today?
hat.
Oh,
Let's see
I
if
think we can
Peterbot forced to
expect a
use
lot
those
from
very
them. They had a great
crucial
performance in the
shieldfish here.
play-ins,
He's only
getting
got 3
third
left now.
place overall with
I'm gonna be looking for a med kit here. There
238
should be
eliminations.
plenty
That was
given
the
that
second most of
all
any
the
team
chest
we
spawn
saw.
here.
And of course,
Look at
you
this,
said it,
Yamzo
Zeke.
playing a
Kanata,
sneaky
he is
bush off to
an
the side, too.
incredibly decorated player. He is the only player
I have a
in
feeling
the
both of
world
these
to
teams
make
know
every
exactly
single
who that is
FNCS finals. That is
across from them on
24
the map,
finals.
because more
And
times
I
than
think we
not,
can expect him to make it
Batman Booga
25.
clicks Yamzo. They got
Yeah, I mean, we got to
Peterbot down
bring
to
that set up every single time we
25
talk about Kanata.
HP.
And I love talking
They
about
didn't even
Kanata because he's so
throw an orb
easy
over there
to
to
talk
act like
about.
they were going to
I
go
mean, yeah,
ahead
we've
and
been
push.
watching
They
him for
realized
so
you still have
long,
gold, you still have
right?
ritual,
And,
and
we've seen him go
Peterbot
through
is still
stages,
alive. That
IGL
would have been
stages,
too risky of a
Fragger
play,
stages,
so they're just going
all
to
of
take
that.
their
And he
damage,
always
not
succeeds
get too
very,
greedy,
very
and
well. Now
continue
kind of
on
the
with the rest
tradition
of their game.
over
They
trios,
cannot
a couple
throw it
of
away
bumps in the
all for
road,
one
and
moment.
figuring
I think
one
now
out.
they
But hey,
download this
listen,
information,
here,
right? Like,
Kinda,
who
like
is
Kelly
wild
mentioned, an
enough
incredible
in a
performance,
game
and the
9
plans
to
are looking good.
Oni mask in on
Yeah,
someone.
I love that their drop spot as
Stuff
well.
like that,
David's
like,
Dojo, they have
very
that
few
entire
players,
northeast corner
only the
all
cream
to
of the crop
themselves.
will
And
be
although
willing
that
to even
might
take that level
be
of
a
risk.
little bit, you know,
So
of a
surely
question
they
mark
probably
onto
have an
how they're
idea
going to be
of
able to
what's
handle
going on
Storm Surge, I mean, it's this trio. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem at all for them.
Akuma's in Rise right now. Once
All right,
again,
okay, so let's maybe talk about
play these
Kanata's old
iconic
trio, right?
tower
We
bases
saw the
here
shakeup
in the
recently,
mid-game.
so now we're looking at Agers, Acorn,
cool to
and
watch how this plays out.
Oyo.
This has been
Talk
very
to me about this trio and
competitive for
maybe
them
what we
as
can
well.
expect from them, because, like, obviously with this shakeup, picking up a global champion seems pretty good.
Yeah, they usually like to hold out teams
Yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
this.
obviously, this trio, all
fully
of them
breaking
have their
down
own
fight.
accolades as
We're
well.
really
In
getting
fact,
at
they actually have the
55
most
above the
FNCS
damage
titles out of
threshold.
any
Like I said,
NA
every
trio,
single
and
game
that's
so
including
far.
Peterbot's
It
trio
almost
as
feels
well.
like their surge
And it's
less
kind of
and less
interesting to
as
see that, you know,
opportunities aren't there.
Poyo,
That
the
goes to
global
shift of the
champion,
lobby.
losing
Teams
his
aren't
duo made
wanting
of
to be
Peterbot.
their Storm Surge
Acorn, one of the
anymore.
best
They've
players
had
in the
enough.
world,
They're
losing his
rotating
duo
away.
made
They're
of
not giving them
Cold.
that
And then,
chance.
of course, you have
But
Agers, who
the
actually
awareness over
won Chapter 4
9,000
Major
right now.
3
He's
with
not Liam and
Kanata.
Fred
So
moving
the
up. He
three
gets
of
a
them
little bit more
together
damage,
just
trying
has
to
to be a
alleviate
recipe
pressure
for
of Storm
success,
Surge, but
right?
it's still not going to be
I mean,
enough because
absolutely,
91,
yeah. But when I
83
look at this
instantly
trio,
falling
my
down that
eyes
slope.
just automatically
No,
go
no,
over
no.
to
Fred,
Acorn. I feel
Liam,
like
get outta
last year,
here.
maybe even
You
the
ruined
year
the
before, started to get
3v3.
a
We
lot of
almost had a
praise for
huge
being the best
fight.
IGL maybe
I was
ever
so ready
in the
for it.
game,
The
right?
more
He's so
likely
respected because he's
this
been doing
fight is
so
to
well in that role
discontinue
for so
Peterbot Ritual
long
Bolt,
across
get the
multiple game
damage.
modes, and with kind of that switch
And now with the
back
boss
over to
being
trios, I would
threatened here, they
expect
have
that
to make
stay
this
the
decision
exact same.
to actually try to secure this, or possibly even give it up. Look,
All right, so
their
let me
material counts
put
are
you guys
halfway
on
right
the
now.
hot seat here.
Not Liam and Fred jump
Let's
into
compare.
the mix, into the
Let's
boxes.
compare Boyo
Do they realize
and
that there
Kanata,
are
right? Let's say
6
maybe
players
take a
here?
look at
I'm
some of
not
the
sure
numbers
just yet, but
leading us into
surely
today.
they have to know now.
So when we kind
Quick
of
seems to
took
be
a look
super
at the
damaged on the
Div
other
Cup
side of this
finals weeks
entire
1 and
exchange
4,
right now.
1 through 4 rather.
What a fight
You know,
that's
Kelly, the
breaking on
numbers
here.
pretty close.
Seems like
but
things are just going to get
something
more and more
seems to
interesting as the
change
ball
when they
starts to
change
charge up.
trios.
The
Yeah, so
disruptive
let's set the
explosion,
stage
there
a
it
little bit,
is.
right? Kanata did play with Acorn and Agers for the first 4 weeks of the divisional
And
cups,
Peter,
and
they
they placed
immediately
top
disengage.
3
You know what?
every
You guys want the
single
high ground,
week.
take it.
And
We don't
Poyo
want
playing
it.
with
We're
Rapid
seeing
Bolts
why.
were able to
Yes,
place
exactly.
second
191
twice.
or
So
99.
it was a
Below
bit
the
of an
damage
interesting
threshold.
shakeup
This is
when we
not
saw
a
that Kanata
situation
was
you
dropped for
want to
Poyo,
out-heal.
and then
You
Kanata
want
went
to be
over to
proactive,
Poyo's old
get the
trio.
damage, but
Now,
they're
as we
hoping
can see,
everybody
after
below
that
them makes
initial
mistakes and go down.
change, where Poyo almost doubles the amount of eliminations that Kanata was able to get and increases his damage as well before they were even.
You could just see the silhouettes, the shotguns are ready for
and I say this in a positive way, Kanata's a very emotional player. And again, in a positive way, we've seen the biggest pop-offs come from him. And I think
is there with a huge shot, wonderfully played there for them. That's going to give them the damage they need.
Switch-up originally happened, it may have affected him a bit negatively. But obviously, that didn't seem to affect him too much in the play-ins, and he has seemed to recover since then, vibes-wise, over the last few weeks. So I think although those numbers show that maybe the trade for Poyo was better, I don't know if that's the case that we're going to see today.
In the distance,
I mean, one thing that we always talk about with trios, right, is the communication has to be there, the vibes have to be there. You kind of have to relearn how your trio kind of works, and when you are switching up your entire trio, sometimes it's just going to be harder for certain trios to kind of adapt.
But maybe that little bit of a lackluster performance from Kanata there in comparison to Poyo, of course, in that first initial week that they played with those new trios, we're just like, oh, well, listen, we haven't really adjusted yet. But quickly bounce back in the play-ins. But Liam by himself spotted out on the other side.
We got 5 games to make anything happen. And I know if anyone can make something happen, it's Kanata. Now, before we keep the ball rolling, let's go meet up with your casters.
Yeah, he had enough of that.
And Monster Deep Days.
Just a tag. I mean, they know that they need to finish this fight here, and the commitment's already been through and through.
Yesterday was a blast, but
I'm very concerned now for Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold. That wasn't so much before, but after fully jumping away now, they're losing the trades here for damage.
The analyst desk talked about the expectation of the superstars. But I want to look at 3 teams, the bottom right hand of the map. It's Taki, Ishao, N-Pen, it's Noxy, Virgo, Curly, and then Noah plays Chaos Gaming and DC Awesomer. All 3 of these trios have the potential to not only win a game, they kind of get through inconsistency, and the biggest bonus factor, Monster, they took some damage. You can see how weak they actually are.
That's right.
This isn't a sign of weakness. I would say, and I think they see it clicks. Because up at the yard, so they flip over, and they force Peterbot
looking good. Magic Mosses has teams landing there with some of the better drops. In the end, it looks like the boss will be secured to click, send themselves up for failure. They will be almost the kings of the hill. They did manage to point in time at a very high level, although they were contested. Someone looks like they've come out any of those potentially contested teams. However, giving them a little bit of pressure, but no, Cold's gone.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one for anybody here to kind of overcome any of these odds.
And this could be Click's Batman moving on to game now. And honestly, this could be the moment where Acorn and team break away for good.
Thank you guys so much. We'll be back with you shortly. Now, Monster Face mentioned contested. We wanted to highlight just some quick things for you in that regard. We're actually looking at Day versus Cosmo over at
Cold is down. He was late to rotate, and you're seeing exactly
I kind of wanted to go ahead and highlight Flood for us. So we saw a lot of action. They kind of switch up. So when a team qualifies out of Flood Frogs, a lot of teams kind of sort of gravitate towards the best POI on the map right now. But whenever I take a look at that contestation up there, my eyes, they focus in on Day, right? A player who's been playing for a very long time. So long, in fact, that, kind of his rise to fame was actually in the Trios game mode. If anybody remembers the names, Reverse, Day, and Mirror, they were so dominant as a trio. So it's exciting to see Day kind of in the competition here today.
I mean, at this point,
this is the real day, not the yesterday, but today's day is the real day.
The new day that's not yesterday's day.
They are just barely holding on.
There's also another trio we're really excited to see compete today. It is Somerset. We got a drop map for you. However,
just a sliver of HP, but Peter goes down. The battle between the Tigers.
Same kind of situation over at Warriors Watch. Of course, Kelly, awesome to see Somerset making it to group number 3 here.
What an elimination right there. What an entire trade-up event here.
Long. She's won several Women of the Arenas. She got 3rd place in the Milk Cup Land. And she has just also been a beacon of the community. So I'm so excited to see her compete today.
Well, lucky for you, Fortnite fan. We actually caught up with Somerset before the show. So,
Acorn Agers, they're lacing up their kicks right now.
What's going on, Somerset? Welcome to the FNCS.
How are you doing? Team that's really within reach. They're ready to run away with this. They just need to continue the blueprint, the consistent games.
That's great.
It doesn't even have to be high elimination heavy. It's just all about surviving. And they're doing just that. Immediately orbs the center of the zone. Was it opened up? They knew not many teams were already there.
I feel like we've done a lot.
This is crazy because now they already had 40 points. They're about to, earn that gap of pack that Peterbot and team just had started to build for themselves after that last game 8 win. And this is also going to allow other teams to actually make a run for even the second seeded spot now.
Anyone would
you
feel
can't fall
very similarly
in the end game like that. Not the way they did.
We can either
not
get
before
through
the
on a victory
placement points really
or we
get
can get
to
through on
start
consistency.
reward the
Where are
lobby
you
here.
targeting, right? Is it going to be that
and
victory?
both see themselves once again back on the high ground here.
Honestly,
Take two
I feel like it
for the
kind of
end
comes
game
hand
here.
in
I'm
hand.
sure
Like
that
if you're going for a
they're still
victory
eating
royale,
themselves
you're
up after the
getting the
last one, but
consistency
here we have
points
it.
you need because you're getting close to a win. So I feel like I'm kind of shooting
Almost
for both, but obviously I think it'd be
200
pretty cool
points
to go out
down
with a bang and just
of
kind
that
of win a
second
game. So
place
that's kind of what I'm
team.
shooting for.
And this is the chance because they already have 5 eliminations. They can score a couple more with a big win.
Confidence is there.
I think they'll give themselves a chance going into the last half of the day. Yapko's doing that, getting elimination on the sales.
Or a finals.
Whole other trio
Yeah,
on the other side. He's kind of picking and choosing wisely. He's on the front side of the zone, waiting for the rest of the team to catch up. He's the one that's kind of peeking through the cone along with Rise, knowing exactly where they need to rotate. They know they have to go now.
Boyo's on the way as well. Acorn Adrians get to the front side of the zone now.
Just like
They're just positioning up here. Still a ways to go, though. They're going to go for the material builds as opposed to using more Oni charges, but High Ground's got their eyes on them. Gotta turn up. Bugha, Threats, and Aviv are tackling High Ground right now. Kanata comes down, though. He sees that things might be getting broken out, and yes, it actually all does get chopped here to fall. Bugha and Aviv must be livid right now as they fall to the damage there. And now Bolt, Traffic, Kanata take advantage of this. They go for High Ground, but another team has got their eyes up there as well, potentially Clips, and Boyo's team as well. What is going down? This game 9 is crazy.
I think I'd be more nervous if it wasn't players that I've been playing against every week. I mean, with the way like the division cups are
Keep
set
your
up,
eyes on everything
kind of
happening here.
Boyo,
Acorn, and Adrians could be looking to take things away right now. And if they do, it will be a 1 for the books here. Another elimination right now falls there. Take a look. Rapid falls as well. And now we're inside the top 10. Adrians, Acorn, Boyo need to refresh here though as they run out of material. But no, Boyo ends up falling unfortunately
where
now.
can all the fans
And
find
it's
you? Because
Rise,
everyone needs to go and
Japko
follow
and
you.
Muzz
Somerset
looking
on all
to make
platforms.
the climb
not a you.
back to
A lot of
the
people get
top.
confused, but that's where
You
you can
just
find me.
couldn't write this story yourself. It's all
Awesome. Well,
unfolding here,
best
and
of
now
luck. We can't
Japko,
wait to
Muzz,
see
and
you compete
Rise
today.
looking to be one of the few teams to take another victory
There you
out
go.
here.
We are
on the
all
FNCS
excited,
final
and
stage.
I mean, like,
Adrians,
Somerset
though, is
has to
still
do
holding
this,
on
right? Like, this
every
would be
point
just such an
that he
incredible
earns
moment
right now.
to see Somerset
It's
come
gonna
out on
set
top and make it
himself
to a finals,
further
and of course go on to
away from
win
Peter
the
Bot's
global
trio.
championship. Because that's
Do
what I
keep
wrote
in
in the
mind
long-term
about that.
script, but that's a script I haven't showed you guys.
Still,
That's the secret
has to
script.
jump down, though, find some heals
I mean,
here. Potentially
you can
save
hear how
his
confident she
team.
was, and again, she's a veteran in her own right. She has been competing in Fortnite competitive tournaments for years now, and so to see her be able to jump into this like kind of unfamiliar territory,
Take a moment to
to
pay
prove herself,
attention,
and
really
do it
allow
with this kind of
settle in here.
confidence in her.
Meanwhile,
I'm just
Clicks is
really
still
excited to
alive.
see
That
how she
medallion in
performs
hand, 28 HP
Yeah, of
though.
course, we'll be
It's not
rooting
looking
for
good.
her
Where's the
today for
Yamzo?
sure. But she
Where's
kind
his
of put it out
teammate?
herself,
They're
right? She
both
was
split
feeling
up.
pretty confident because she's been playing against these
Opportunity,
players
though.
pretty much
Clicks has a
all
chance
of
to
the
go
weeks,
clutch.
right? So
He
he's
has
kind of
the
like
medallion.
used to it. But
Peter
the
Bot
more and
has
more reps
performance,
you
and it
get in,
comes down to
not
this, but he gets
specifically the
knocked.
players themselves, but
Yamzo's
just the
down. The last
caliber
one
of
surviving.
players is just going to get
Feeling
better
that
and
same
better.
pain,
So
but he
today's just
scoops
going
up
to
the
be
medallion
huge up
just in
for
the nick of
Somerset,
time.
regardless of what happens.
This is crazy right now.
I love it. I love it.
Adrians
We
is
are
still in the
rooting
move.
for Somerset.
He's
Now,
got
of
the
course,
medallion now.
few moments
He
here
can't be
before we
trapped
start
with the
off the
visual.
competition.
Give away.
What are we
12
hoping
HP
to see,
now,
right? We've
back
gotten
against the
2
wall.
different
Top
weeks of
3 for
this, right?
Adrians.
And
Who
now
would've thought
this is it.
it'd go this far?
We're
And in the
here.
end,
We
he
need to
still gets the
qualify.
knock it allows.
So what are you guys hoping to
Rise
see?
and Japko to win
I
another
want to
game.
see what we got
They
to see
stayed
yesterday,
on top.
where
They
it
made
was
sure they
Peter
didn't
Bot
take
trio
part
versus
in any
Vidil's
of
trio.
that
I
mess
want to
on the
see
low ground,
Kanata's trio
forcing
versus
solo
Poyo's
after
trio
solo,
in
duo
game
after
1 at the
duo
end
to clash down
3v3.
below so
Well,
they
listen,
can
Kelly, you
sail
might get
across that
exactly
finish line
what you
and take
asked
that
for because,
first place in this
Kanata
game.
posted on socials
What
earlier this
a
week.
game number
Durag
9 that
Nada is
was
back
a
this week.
roller coaster of emotions going
I think he's
through
ready to go.
Not only us here on the
Okay, well, I'm
commentary
ready
booth,
to
but also
go
the
too, so let's get ready
community
to kick
as
off the
Peter
first game.
Bot's team
Casters,
falls
please save
early.
me.
Acorn's team runs away with it. Agers finding the critical
nothing beats
impact
Kanata when
eliminations
he's in
in the
the
end to
zone,
keep them up in
especially
top
when he's
3
got
and
the
then
full bit on. I mean, I'm looking forward to
Rise
it.
and
I think
Japko.
right now the pressure's
My
on Jacob, though, that
we love
he
to see
really has
them
to
win.
perform, right? He has
And
a
they
legacy
do it in
to
this
live up to right now.
spectacular
He's had
fashion for
a
game
bit of an
number
up and
9.
down
I mean,
week
Z,
overall,
I
so
need your
what do you
expert
think?
analysis and the
I
rest of the
think
team
he's
here
one
at
of those
this
players
point.
that Kelly kind of said it, like kind of leads with his emotions, plays with just
I've got
all
it. I'm
out
gonna break it down. You
passion.
ready?
So when that switch up actually
passed
happened
out.
at first, I agree.
But
Tommy took it
man,
hard, but now
Muzz,
he has
Yako,
something
Rise.
to
What's
prove. I feel
crazy
like for
about
Kanata,
this
this
trio,
isn't just
man,
about about winning a game. This isn't just about qualifying. qualifying. This is making a statement.
It looks like someone else is going to have height.
Right?
They're just waiting. It's like they had that perfect timer. And this is actually something Kelly talked about last year, where it's like everyone fights for high ground, but it's like that 11th zone, which is when they took it. It's so like the perfect time, right, Kelly? Like that's the time to strike.
I mean, we've definitely seen success, even as close as yesterday, to teams going around Zone 8, Zone 9, building up this early height, and being able to control it, especially when Zone does pull over their old builds.
This is going to be a very fun day.
You just can't do that, especially with TPs right now, especially with just how aggressive our top 8 teams are being. Everyone wants high ground. High ground wins games. We say it time and time again. And Muzz, Jaco, and Rise have just been playing so patiently. That really is the key to their success right now, is that they're not going for these high elimination games. In fact, out of the top 5, they have the lowest amount of eliminations out of anyone. But they don't need those eliminations if they're able to make these end games over and over again.
Here's the thing, pressure is on Somerset to perform right now, given that she's said it herself. She's got a lot of haters that she wants to prove wrong right now. Gary, Doxy, and G's, they have everything to gain right now.
First moves are right 9, 10 zone, whatever, and then they kind of have it around the game. Maybe there's like one play that kind of happens for it.
Of course,
there was like what 5 teams kind of thrown in the mix for the high ground that game, right? Like all of a sudden the gears started to turn for a lot of these teams. Are like, no, I want high ground.
Somerset and her trio don't really have any finals appearances, but on the other side, it's only 6 split between the actual trio as well. So I think this is a good, evenly matched fight for both of these trios to really get a handle on this game, to really start to make a little bit happen early on and set the tone and the pace. So I do like a little bit of a slow start here.
Wait after this break to see with your own eyes, because you're going to be just as shocked as I am. When return, we'll break all of that down.
To reinitiate here. G still up top, looking down. Carrot's got a bit of a side angle. Siege is going to be the first to get jumped on, though. The shot goes through, and G takes a small win there and backs off, but I'm not sure if that was the right play.
Yeah, I think G's kind of had a great opportunity. The window was open, tried to climb right in, but knowing he was by himself, he just took that shot, took the damage, reconvened back down to the bottom with the rest of the team. And this is one of those situations. We saw it on day 1, group 1. We saw it yesterday. Sometimes these contested fights, no matter how good that you have it in terms of loot, when one team has high ground, one team has low ground, it's kind of a little bit of a stalemate.
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting Bucky and team to come in pretty quickly. There's a heated rivalry there from days past. We'll see how that ends up developing. Oyo, Agers, Acorn looking just fine. They got their drops themselves. Things are settling in here. Meanwhile, Moxie and Day are getting absolutely active at their drop here at the Flooded Frogs. This is one battle that we knew was going to be taking its course, and it's ending faster than I think anyone expected, with another team looking to jump on in. They don't end as fast here, Jacob. It's going to be third-party Central all day long.
Yeah, and just unfortunately, Moxie just got separated too far away from Day. Even with damage there, Day is trying to clean it up. At least one player is going to go down. Draco's scrambling around, but it was another trio that entered into the mix. Exactly what you were saying. They just took quite too long. Day's down. Draco's down. Jedi's the only one left. Brain, but he gets taken down as well. Flooded Frogs contested by 2 teams, but it's the third party that's going to be the last one standing.
Sad part about that, this team, Prom, Status, and Mafia, land literally to the south. They have no one necessarily contesting them that they have to worry about, given that the team that Magic Moss is has to take their fight, right? So they have just all the time in the world to rotate north after they get their loot. If Day can't finish that fight quickly, it's going to be like this all day long. They're to come in and sweep things up. Looks like Kanata Bolts in Rapid here, set up for success so far. Again, big name teams looking just fine. We're doing our checks here as we jump around. Game number 1 of Group 3 here. Edgy, Quanti, and of course, Philo. We expect a lot of big things from. They have the Mass Meadows completely to themselves. One of the big observations here is that this is one of those drops that have a lot to yield, but you can see being down low, gonna have to make a move here to play for that center location. Jumping back up with Sharkman and Elsa, though. Seems like a fight's breaking out.
This looks like a third party on the Warriors watch, and neither team were the original ones, except for Sieges goes down. Somerset's out as well. It looks like that full trio is dropped. Sharkman, Round, Elsa just taking advantage of these prolonged off-spawn exchanges. Basically, I've seen it 2 for 2 so far with Warriors watch and Flooded Frogs.
This is tough because, look, the other team is still here. The team that, of course, contested originally Somerset is still sitting around. Gary, G's, and Doxy have managed to...
Welcome back.
somehow survived the onslaught of the new team rotating in.
To see
and just like that,
what transpired
are considering whether or not they're going to even fight this
because
team.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're not ready to see what has happened.
A better vantage point
this last
everybody
game.
is down below you.
Aegis,
They know at least one tree
Acorn,
crashed and
are now
landed there, and that's why they're kind of being very, very cautious. But you can kind of see in the minimap two different individuals even rotating around that map. Around Elsa and Sharkman, they realize Gary's just a little bit too separate from the rest of his team, and they're taking that as a green light to go. But the third parties come in.
There's so many more solo clutches that have been happening. And it's not just like, oh, you know, like I made like top 25
the situation, trying to figure out if it's actually worth or not to continue to play aggressive.
He made
like I said, you like this strategy
and walked away with
Sharkman's
6
trio.
elims.
They lane at the canyons crossing, so rotating.
Yeah, if you look at all of the solo clutches, half of them are Agers. I actually looked back on my notes from yesterday and today, and Agers got a solo clutch in Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, Game 7, and Game 9 now. It is absolutely insane. I don't know what he had for breakfast today, but please let me know so that I can ask myself. He is absolutely carrying his team. And I say carrying, but he's also playing with Poyo and Acorn, who are playing out of their minds as well. But just when it comes down to these rough situations, Agers is able to come out and survive time and time again.
Around the lobby
and honestly, you know, coming into the weekend, I expected Video Cooper and Sphinx to be the team that was going to be final eliminations throughout the moving zones, right? Keeping that momentum-based play style up that I kept kind of pointing, but it seems like Acorn, Agers, and Poyo have almost taken on that identity. They keep playing in the middle
really get back to what we know they can do.
The end game right there, there's final eliminations. They're box fighting so well together that they're getting very, very far into these games. And then Agers just putting on incredible performances, just establishing a lead on the leaderboard for them right now. I don't know.
Still in the game.
It's
Oliver
close.
OG,
There's
Skater,
3
and
more
Dash,
games left, but it might be all done and dusted. I don't know.
The last time Oliver OG fought his way to finals was absolutely hyped. Into the final
but what happened, right? Why did this lead develop? Well, let's remind ourselves back in that momentum fight over Rift Island, right? Peterbot's up there. He's chilling. You're thinking, okay, here we go again. But what happens, right? Lixiamzo, Batman, Bluga, they look to take this fight. And then what ends up happening, they get left in a shambles situation where Storm Surge is now their problem. It is enough to just completely dismantle them. To think this all happened because Lixiamzo and Batman Bluga decided to take this fight to Rift Island. And then on top of that,
and they're wasting no time trying to follow the zone. They joining in on the action as well. Storm Surge actually is in these lobbies. It's almost like currency. You're able to kind of pay your way, control your own destiny, do exactly what you want. Because you know as well as I do, when you're down on Surge, you almost got to see a team and go.
How much success Peterbot was having with that medallion. So he says, I want to find myself hold this trio with their aggression. They know that they could probably have this 3v3 and win, but it was actually Clix, Batman, Booga, and Lixiamzo that were kind of able to hold them off. And then, as you say, Liam Trio jumps up as well. They are below Storm Surge. They need to go on the aggression. And so they think by kind of third-partying this fight happening, they might be able to get some tags that they need. Speaking of tags being needed, this might be the first time, Vivid, that we've seen Peterbot so close to Storm Surge.
There on that rotation, I mean, even beaten by the team on the high ground. They were kind of following him
throughout that game. Definitely did not get the fights that they were looking for in the early game. I mean, we have to shout out Clix, Batman, Booga, and Lixiamzo, right?
To cover more ground.
They were kind of in the same situation there. They were up on that island because they had the third party kind of come in. They were taking shots. Balls was flying around up there. They got 4th place, 8 eliminations that game. Right? They still made it out
down below, trying to take a more aggressive approach. They have a huge health advantage here as well.
Kind of story for that trio, you know,
yeah, one of these
Booga and Lixiamzo.
Little pawns.
It's like almost every single game that we tune into, there's like something that looks like it's going wrong.
You can get from
it just doesn't matter. They still clutch up. They find a game plan. They recover in some way, shape, or form, and that's why they're towards the top of the leaderboard right now.
See how it's going to end up playing out.
And to think, right, like in that moment where they fight for the island, Peterbot goes on the aggressive, right? He goes to try and port on Clix, and then immediately his whole trio claps back onto Peterbot, and now he's sitting recoiling like there is so much fight in all of these trios, right? And even if we're looking at, okay, like, yeah, Poyo 732 points, like we're not aiming for first, like there's still a ton of prize money on the line, right? So even just a single change in placement means so much to all of these trios.
And I think we have 3 more games. No time.
I don't even know.
Fishy,
I may not make it. Okay, all right. If I don't make it, just make a little statue of Frog for me and my favorite POI. You know the one.
See the bushes still.
With that being said, though, we are getting dangerously close here
to where you can try to
these
sneak some
trios.
shots. But
It
as soon
is
as
now
players know
or
you're
never
there,
with
it's good what
3
Fish is doing.
games
Disengage,
left
get
to
back on the
go.
team, get more cover, and just play a little bit safer.
We need to pull out on the stop. So we're going to send it back over to our
Take a look at this
casters.
update
Monster
right
D-Face,
here.
Jacob PR,
Rapid
take it away.
Agers.
Take me away, please.
Boyo right now. You got a little push happening.
See, don't worry.
They're
I'll
starting to
put you
move.
on the back. We
Not
will
looking good for
cross that
Rapid. He's on
finish
the run
line
here.
no matter what
Pressure
happens
back
at the
against
end
the wall.
of the day.
Low HP.
Monster.
This is
3
all
games
but over
left.
here
That
now
puts
as
a
Agers
lot
takes
of
the
pressure.
wall, and
Not
it's
only
going to be
on
Boyo who
Peter
finds the
Bot,
final shot
but
there.
every team
And
down
that's
below him
just
that
a
wants to
single
have that fighting
elimination. So
opportunity.
this is not yeah, it one that does. I was looking at the standings and
surely
just trying to see
finishing
who
the
today
D
is
here.
performing the best. You got to
Don't
give
get
credit to
confused, though.
Noxyburger and Curly,
Different
who have
Rapid
had a
from across the map.
tremendous
That is
day
not the
2
trio
performance so
of
far.
Kanata
If the
Bolts and
multiplier,
Rapid,
it only
two
makes you
different
wonder if the
balls.
multiplier was at play. We would have a much different standing. However, it's just down to
kind of the beginning
consistency.
spot
So
right there.
let's
So
see it.
good opportunity
Game number 10.
right there because Kanata and them, they land over towards Demon's Dojo. It's not going to be the easiest thing for them to fly across the map because I was thinking the same
All
thing.
it
Oh my
takes
God,
now
to get in their revenge. Is one mistake like that last game from
Shout out to
Ritual,
Jacob,
Cold,
bringing
and
logic to the
Peterbot, and we
equation
will
there. I'm
have
like, this
a
Rapid
race
is- I don't
for
know how
second
he's here,
place.
but he's
Agers,
on
Acorn, and
himself.
Poyo.
They only
They
have
might need
one
a few more
elimination.
hiccups in their game
it's
plan,
still
but with
a
3
set of
games
points
left,
for them.
Monster, I feel like
And more
anything,
importantly,
and I mean
damage, right?
anything,
Think
can
about
still
yesterday
happen.
in the game dynamic of
Agers,
how the
Acorn, and
rounds played
Boyo
out.
are
I would
playing
say comparatively the
relatively
same
stacked
as
in
Ritual,
Group
Cold,
2,
and Peterbot
and then 4 and
because
5
today they've
teams
earned
got
220
desperate.
points,
And
and
you're
the
starting to
Ritual
key in by
team
the
has
time
earned a
game 5 to
200 run. I mean, it
16
really
points,
was.
so they're very much neck and neck
as far as like how their
breaking
games
loose,
are going on
figuratively,
average.
all over the map,
However,
man,
as teams were just pushing it, and the obviously needed to make up for the deficit, the 90-point gap that separates them. And now it's just like a huge setback for them, right? It almost puts them back to
early on, of course.
Game number 7, right? Where we kind of began the day here today. So
take the fight
these
up
next 3
against
can go either way.
Shifty's team
but
there.
we can't see a mistake come out of them.
Yeah, you're already seeing drop
feel like
spot
almost hoping
switch
the
up,
zone continues
visual
to kind of
braids,
move
and
in
a
their
minute
favor. You
moving
see
back
it's
on
over here
over
to
Foxy
Floodgate.
Floodgate.
Box
Before
cars,
Major
Oracle,
1
Smitty,
even
and
started,
Aiden are
this
already
was a
positioned. They don't
potential
have the
contested
highest
fight we
mountain
were going
range,
to
but
see.
they're in a good
Bucky
spot
Ocus
where a lot of
Braid said,
teams
you
are
know
going to
what,
have
I
to
don't care. I've
rotate
been
in and around
contested
their
almost all
position,
my life.
especially
Bring the fight
here.
to us.
Even though it's not a
Visual Braids
drastic
diminish.
pull towards the
They take a
north, but
slower
you can see
approach.
all
They
those
went to
teams
Rainbow
outside
Field.
of
They
the
tried
zone
to
on the
take
south
advantage
side.
of a team
They're going to
that
have to
wasn't as
eventually try to
experienced.
find
But
their
with
way in.
everything on the line here,
And as long as they're not too far down the storm surge thresholds where it activates and they have to kind of go in, I think they'll be quite all right.
For the third and the
We've
white.
tasted over 10
You can tell they
games
know
of
the drop.
Fortnite. Like the fact that he knew that he could throw a wall through the
Really
the
seen
sewer
many
right there. Like, come on, it's the little things. They've been here.
So this is
they
gonna
know
be
how to play
a
it
bit of
out.
a first for us
At
as we're
this
going
point, if you got to get the
towards the
points,
Flutter
well,
Frogs.
there you go.
These
Take down
islands are
another
gonna
team. So
populate.
a lot of
Well
teams
played
down
for them,
here
and
really flexing
further south,
their knowledge of the drop.
Look at all the squads that can decide to go up. Kanata,
doing what they do
Rapid
best.
and Bolts are going to be one of the
last
first to go and
game
take the
really makes you
plunge
wonder.
here.
Why
to
did
the
they
top.
have such a low surge threshold?
I almost thought for a second
overall
we're going to see
damage
Bucky and his trio go up there. Because remember
Clearly,
back in the day
I
when
was
Rift
putting
Island, especially when it had the
emphasis on them playing
15
so
points, it was
dynamically,
Bucky
right, switching
and
up
his
their
duo at the
rotations,
time just
but
continuously
something
going up there,
clearly did not
dominating
go
the
in their
space.
favor
This
last
time
game,
around, I
and
think it was
they
kind of
didn't get the activity they needed.
Kanata was one of the
Back to
first ones to
hopeful heights,
react.
though. What's going on
towards
here?
the top.
Okay, so
Even though
Noah's
he
team
took
is
some
just
damage, he
the
at least
thorn in
solidified
everyone's
the
side right
spot
now.
at the top of the Shogun's arena, making it a little bit more risky for any team to contest there, even if they're not necessarily going for the boss.
Take down Oliver OG
I
pretty
appreciate
quickly.
as well.
I guess
They
the confidence
all
is up.
initiate together.
Yeah, not
Think
as many
about
third
this.
parties this time around.
Taking their
Last
time,
game,
making sure they
different
have
POI,
full
of course,
control
but that
of
third
the
party
islands, and then
almost
they take
came
down
in
the boss with that Shogun
immediately,
down.
even though they did win that off-spawn exchange, wasn't able to kind of make nothing out there as DC was chased down as a solo. Now this time around, I feel like they're catching a couple players
essentially
off
turn
guard at their
invisible and
actual
infinite
drop
sprint
spots
is
proven to be fruitful for the
insane.
early game, and
You
it's
put
kind
that
of
in the
comparative
hands
because you
of-
look at obviously
I don't know who's
first
gonna pick
place,
it up. What do you think is gonna take it?
$180,000, but if you go
Kanata.
down to fifth place, $28,000,
I think Kanata, no
20,000,
doubt.
20,000,
I
all
can
the way
see
down, even
Bolts maybe getting it,
$10,000
but
for 11th
Kanata,
place. There's still
I
a
feel like since
life-changing
its
amount of money
inception
for
of that
everybody in
medallion,
this
he's
lot.
getting
Kind of the guy
Definitely
that
big
runs it,
amounts of
especially in the
cash
end
on the
game.
line right now.
But
And
not too
that
far off
Blade of
where they're
Champions champions and your trip to the globals. I mean, there's so much to play for right here.
Appearances this season, increasingly getting better, and I like to see they sticking together as a trio as well.
We're late into the tournament series right now. If you're just tuning in, game 10 of 12. This is it. Couple rounds left here. Oh, take a look at this. Clicks, Batman, Booga, Yamzo find themselves up against Liam and team. It's a team that's had a lot of notable early game fights. They actually were one of the trios to join in on the island fight.
Man
just
with
last
the
round,
advantage
so
on the field right
now.
now.
That's a lot of trust you got to have in your finding some
teammate, of course,
little do they know,
want to
but
give that one up.
They're going to take a little bit of damage. It seems like they want to back out.
Play, though. Realizing the kind of situation.
Take what they get.
Like I said, it was one of my two players that both early right now. You see where the zone is at. It has potential. FNCS went away, came back. Even center up. They know it's not going to pull West champion along with Thor and some of the other zones before. So they might just getting aggressive, trying to rotate on down. Almost a close call, but still made it happen. Rexo. The lobby switching up here is really dictating some of our top teams because last game when I was watching there with the old fish base, they were taking advantage of the shield fish. In that game, one team landed Whippy and already went to make it through, so they weren't able to get their early surge. So it's not only up to you. A lot of these other teams adapting, changing things up, are really making sure to keep us on our toes.
A bit of a storm here, plenty of fish.
Close enough
to the edge if they wanted to drag it in.
Back to
the
trio
there seems like
would have thought Muzz, Rise, and Jap could be taking multiple victory royales this weekend.
That's a right now.
Huge surprise, I'd say, for myself
here with other teams right now.
But nonetheless, great to see.
Max
now they're riding the heels of Ritual Cove and Peterbot. I mean,
just outside the pump
we've been getting all the credit to Peterbot's trio as a team that could
for a game one start here for this
space. Muzz, Japco, and Rise could be one of the teams.
We know how important those early eliminations are. We saw near teams yesterday kind of use those early game scuffles to make all the way through the end game.
I mean, we saw a glimpse of it. They split those triple towers. They got wide spread to the center of the general area, and they haven't had the same issues for Surge.
And Agers right behind Ritual, rotating very, very parallel. Even when they try to make their way forward directly in toward the zone, there's still teams positioned in and all around them.
Playing no Surge
still got a mountain to climb.
Not getting to zone early. They're taking fights in the
threshold. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pick it up. Feel for Nut, Liam, and Fredbot, and this is how they got that first elimination. It's just either Clicks, Yamzo, Batman, Booga, or Peterbot, looking good right now. They've been the two primary teams
looking for the reset here so they can get in
throughout the majority of this entire tournament.
I'm actually more surprised
and that's saying something because that's a lot of pressure that you're going to have to go up against.
There's a lot of activity happening up here. Given how contested this area was, I mean, even though it's not exactly the two teams, G-Money and Acorn,
and Seek that are down there rotating from Magic Monsters, just trying to get as much metal, just trying to get some storm surge. Why the full fight is breaking down, but Tony up above, trying to grab the tops. He's doing a good job now, pressuring them from above while his teammates are pressuring down below.
In on Scumpies and Seek doing an excellent job playing defensively here, but Zeus
really takes a little bit of a shot right there, but they saw he was a solo with all three just immediately pushed.
Even with him trying to get out,
a major setback here. You see Ghosted and G-Monster
just did way too much damage.
Now it's going to be a 3v2, and it's almost the craziest clutch. Every team having to rotate far to the east, including them with a far pull. I don't see too many teams interrupting this fight just to get some damage from close proximity. Kind of scares me a little bit because you know what two teams are north of them. Push forward. Not wanting to let these eliminations the potential for the third party damage to be there for above and beyond where they were at just moments ago. But they want to make sure they have enough too much damage. They're going to have to choose to slow things down working out. G-Money's going to get that moment. That's going to allow that Creon to kind of get out to engage and make their way towards them. Nobody else in sight. A nice shot from Tony on the Osid, backing him down. G-Money's going to go down as well. Everything falling apart right before our very eyes. Osid scrambling, but he gets taken down as well. That's a lot of pressure on one person. Tony loses his teammate now. This is what we want to see. 1v1 from 3v3.
We get to jump in with Ishu and Taki right now, who are above the surge. Also seems to be coming off potential set of eliminations, but the zone also favors them too, so they'll have a nice easy rotate. Vicious team is under surge. Down they come, and they're pushing pretty quickly now. They do have heals to possibly sustain a bit here. Seek, G-Money, and Osid players have to nearing the top 10. Breaking out now. And Pen and team don't really want anything to do with this. They're trying to let the surge come in. That's got to be tough. And now they look for the rotate. Seems like both sides got just what they needed to stay in the game for now.
Poyo.
Look at this. They put themselves between two trios. Shots are coming in on the fresh builds.
Gotta see on the side that little blue arrow kind of fishing in the river. That's going to be Acorn moments ago. Making sure that all this damage that they do take this on is top how they were getting their surge. We saw them 500-600 above. It was these two eliminations right here.
If they can grab them.
And potentially the third, just to see a lot of other teams positioned high up, trying to do the same thing. And I think from that, you know as well as I do, when the other teams started pushing because they were down surge with Sturge active, no one's just going to wildly south and like that. So you just got to figure out a way to play defensive, time and space, just like you said, let Storm to take as much time as they need. But this time around, they're just trying to beat the zone on the other end.
Fishy, bow shot flow right now. Let's see how it's going to play out, though. Zone coming starting to come out, so they have their escape plan here.
Just chilling here in a second, but
have to be careful. Team behind the mountain,
all of a sudden swings against them. They jump in on Enough's team right in front.
Opening shot here.
They're moving as a 3-man unit. Side angle comes out. Boom just makes a strong edit there and gets absolutely punished.
That's how dedicated he was.
This is a very interesting decision right now for them to back off. Oh no, I said that too early. They're looking for a better angle, something a little bit more favorable for them right now.
That was Oreo and his tree on top of the
surge damage. They got a lot of it.
It's almost like revenge because last game we saw Peterbot take down Oreo when he had
to stay alive in the game, and that's going to keep him content. So what happens now, Jacob, is another team falls below, right? So this is all back and forth.
To spread out. They know exactly where this team below is rotating. There's only one way into that tunnel and only one good way out.
Not even that many players.
They kind of need to go down.
Just two need to fall. Stormster to turn off at least until the next zone. You're going to see it kind of drop down. 14 out against no W plays. Stormster is going to be active for quite a while. So it's not going to be easy for any of these guys to overcome. But shots like that, to bring trouble here for no W plays. Shot goes down. Flow dropped to 10 HP. He's at least trying to get the revive. If they have the time here, the zone does favor them. They could make this play happen. When it comes down to your average eliminations and place some points earned, fight, and he goes in trending their way straight up the standings. Flow, Decky, and both getting punished. And now that activity now bringing the attention of the remaining players in the lobby here. The top 10 low positions, a cheeky spot to play.
Let's watch it.
They're gonna go for the save here. They get it.
Or I should say the top
they go
5.
Now. Wood coming out. This might make them a target, but
right behind.
Seem like the dust is starting to settle all the teams. Now we're looking for a chance. Acorn and Agers Boyo continuing to push here. Not content with just being 100 above the surge. They need a little bit more.
8,000 more.
Acorn finds himself out of position. 15,000 more. Up to Agers now.
Even more after that for every placing above.
He's going to go and
even though it's going to be a long shot, almost have to play perfect in order to take that number one spot.
But still nothing
there's still a goal for them to meet. 10 players need to go down before Stormster even turns off. Trying to replicate that success from yesterday. This is going to be only 60 under the radar. It's enough their spot toward the top side of the leaderboard, but they know in the blink of an eye things can change. With a huge victory royale, we have to build that aggressive momentum. And this is something that's been ailing them almost all game long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really thinking about that top 2, right? Seats to the globals. This is the time to do it.
OG, Skater, Dash, 6 eliminations for this trio already in the fight here. So even then they still have a lot to worry about. Meanwhile, Kanata finds himself a nice elimination here. Bolts and Rapid, they're right back in the game and
Mace is going to
looking healthier than ever.
The finish for Donnie.
Material count absolutely rock solid now. High ground secured.
Thinking about
off the trio back there, and they're going to be able to build heavily
on here now.
From here onwards. This could be the game.
So many teams even changed up their drops. Mason Donnie's here. They're going in along with Chance. Typhoon Blade's going crazy. They haven't really achieved any big damage, but this is the team last game we saw them on the north side of the map with Noah, Chaos, and DC. Now they're at the south side of the map. They're just trying to go out away from like 75 materials to max Virgo. You got to imagine this team as well, feeling comfortable. This is in the distance. Agers, Acorn, Boyo, any one of these teams trying to get Storm Surge threshold position. But they need the right time to peek at the high ground, land a couple shots, to do just enough to get above. To be fair, that's given away their attention, the focus, Bolts, Rapid, Kanata, they all know another team's position on that side, and with the zone pulling all the way over, working in their favor yet again. I'm not sure how many teams are going to be able to contest them without risking everything in a 50-50.
I was actually hoping to see something happen there,
but I'm seeing from this team right now, though, they are not looking to take any risk here.
Continue to see another day. Now,
the win is surrounded by
but
Boyo, Agers, and Acorn.
They're looking in.
Seems like they have something else to say about it.
Search for the action, search for the opportunity.
But they find themselves below the surge again here. 5 or so players will have to.
Doesn't even look like Nazi, Virgo, and Curly are on the same page right now, scattered around. Potentially looking for Noah, even though he's not a solo overall in this game. He's a solo position. Fighting for opportunities like this. That's all away from G. That's Dash. That's Skater. They get separated. Take down. I got you. And a huge pick-me-up opportunity for Agers, Acorn, and Boyo. But the tables turn. Aggression turns on them. They're quickly trying to maneuver their way out of the island. Exactly that. Refresh the siphon material. We know the damage they can get in a lobby like this if they're able to possess that medallion.
Not that team.
This is a big pickup right now for Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts here. starts looking at Noah Plays team in DC Awesome,
had a
very weakened team right in front of them.
rounds ago. So far today,
Oliver clutching up the points right now.
Their
You have to
chances
give
to
him
kind of
credit.
break away here. However,
This is a huge surprise
short.
to me, though, to see Acorn's team playing
They
big ground
remain
right
in
now.
the
I expected them
conversation.
to be on the ultimate low, but the fact that
Clicks
they are
Batman
potentially playing
moving
for
Yamzo
height,
back on over to
keep
them.
eyes on
They've
Kanata's trio.
now
They are not
exited
safe
their
just
way
yet.
from the storm
Meanwhile,
line
Taki,
into
Ishu, and Empen, beautiful rotates right here.
foxy
Everyone else
floodgate area
focused
at the moment.
on the above situation, but no, look, Agers, Boyo, Acorn, go back to the trusty, right? They kind of lower their
Not too
elevation
many
right now.
worries from Batman.
And are looking for more refreshes, more points here.
649
Yeah, they're
above the
instantly
damage
just trying to
threshold.
move to the
Still
front side of
finding
the zone,
opportunities
grab
for
the
more.
side of a lot of these teams' walls, and just
Since
try
they
to
know
play
they're at the
aggressive
edge of
zone,
elimination after
edge that's
elimination,
pulling
it seems to be
down
working.
towards the south.
Not
They kind of
getting
give
a lot of
themselves
material
options.
siphon match,
Wait
that's
at
just
the
enough for them
edge.
to do the job.
Find a lot of these
Opportunity
teams that are slow to rotate in, or just quickly find their position. Very similar to trying to figure out how to make it work with only one build any time on the edge this time around. They got the fight they were looking for in the early game, and they got the flexibility to rotate.
Caught out there
And that's
still.
exactly what they
Big
did.
top 10 put in for him there as he gets a couple points. 8 eliminations out for Agers, Acorn, and Boyo. They start making their way masterfully through the zones here. Up and over that cliff. Now they're off the flat land.
City, but we've seen them
If they get too
maintain
much
this
time to
position
settle in,
time and time
they
again.
can
The zones
potentially
here,
start to turn their
this is the way
focus
they
in
played out. They build a
to the high
huge
ground
base.
teams. Let's
The
see how
only
it's going to
time
end up
we've
playing
actually
out.
seen them
Though still,
abandon that
8
is when they
trios
had
in the
to
game
full
here.
collapse on a trio
Caught with the
that
wall
was
opening.
invading
This is
their
not
area,
looking
which
good now. Down
just
he
so
goes. The
happened to be
entire team
Chip Skittles and
wiped.
Victor Green.
That's a
Don't easy
huge
pickup,
pickup
but they
here.
ended up
Putting them up at 10
sweeping the floor with
eliminations
them really
and more
quickly.
material to work with. The points are just racking up now for Boyo, Acorn, and Agers. But the damage is being calculated.
This is
Here's
exactly
another
what
team
Vivid
turns
kind of broke
focus
down
on
yesterday to start the day.
Acorn's down.
Their game plan to land that shattered span at the zone push to the east. They can easily rotate north. They can rotate south.
Going down.
Kind of pick and
left by
choose.
himself. But then now they're pick me up.
This time
That's going to
around,
give
they
them
went
enough
towards the
material.
south.
They can
You
start
kind of
claiming
see it at
space
the edge
down
of the
below.
zone.
But it's the advantage, the full trio up above
rotate.
that they should be worried about.
They're going to be one of those
I'm
teams.
now feeling a
kind of
bit
position
concerned
themselves
at the
probably
material
at the
counts
edge
up
of
above,
that
but
hill,
no, seems like it's
right
pretty
outside
decent.
of Seaport
Kanata's going to
City.
start the split
Look
here.
towards the
Seems like they
south
have
and
to
try
make
to
this
hold as
decision.
many teams
Down
out
they
as
go to
possible.
close
They're
this game out.
250 above the
It's a
damage threshold,
3v2v1
but you know that can change in the blink of an eye.
situation at the moment
Saw a little
here,
hit marker
and
there.
they are
I thought
on
Muzz
ultimate height.
found that long range
Anything can
connectivity.
still
Not
happen
just
now.
yet, though.
Once the
Speaking about
siphon
Chip
ends
and
up
team,
playing
though,
out and
seems
these
like
teams
they're
start to heal up here,
pretty
high
up a
ground team
skirmish
ends up
here
coming down
against
now. Here they go.
Powerful and Listen
It's
already,
all
so
starting to unfold here.
two new
Boyo
trios.
unfortunately gets clipped on the side
Relatively
there.
hungry,
Bolts
going head-to-head
runs
right
through
now.
Agers and
Minis
closes the game
starting to be
out.
shared
And
about
just
here,
like
so the
that,
damage is being done. Meanwhile, Acorn,
That was just
Boyo, and
a big
Agers
win. I
looking a
felt
little
like they
worse for
weren't
wear.
even
about.
threatened throughout the course of that
The worst
game.
we've seen them come
Especially
in
the
mid-game,
moment
but
we saw that
they have all
grouping
the
of
damage.
eliminations.
They're just on the
max
map right now for a
refresh.
little
They
bit more.
took
They can
height
use the
and
material count.
never
There it is.
looked back.
Securing
Because
this
of that
elimination,
material
the timing
count,
couldn't
they
be
were
better
able
for
to kind of
Agers here now.
make sure they were reinforced every step of the
More
game. Zone
damage
8, not
means
too early for
easier
that monster
time
handling that storm surge.
Liked what I saw there.
There's one
well
team
played
just
all the way
outside
through,
of where
and
the
you know
actual
what? It's
zone
off
is
the
right
back
now,
of the,
trying to
that
look
whole
back. They
entire
heard
refresh
all this
like
noise
this is
going
a
down.
rarity to go
I don't
and
think
have
they've
it
been
play
given
out
an
like that. Take a look
opportunity
at the
of
quick
sight. You
highlights
kind
here.
of see they're
Bolts.
very, very
From
parallel
his
to one another. That
perspective,
scare,
it was just
Sonetto and
super
Fear.
easy, but it's what you expect.
And
of
they
a
have
team
the
with the
option right
medallion,
now.
right?
Wait, take
You
damage
can't
from
trace
Storm,
him.
try
You
to
don't know
hold
where
them
he's
out,
at, and just like
or
that,
simply try to
Victor
rotate
Riagos
in,
to
worry
Rabbit,
about the
Kanata,
damage
and
that they
Bolts.
need later.
And we knew they were going to do it, but it feels good to watch them compete there. In
doesn't
order
it, Zeke?
for Ritual Cold and Peterbot to
You
have
know,
the
Monster Face, you
space
took the words
that they
right
need
out
to
of
just
my
jump
mouth.
up with a
My
single game,
gosh,
it's
they
gonna
made
take
that
Agers,
look
Acorn, and Boyo to
so
play
easy, so
terribly.
clean.
And for
And
that,
again, like
something
they
go
called
really
out, you know,
wrong.
when you're looking
That
up at height,
doesn't
you're like,
happen.
dude,
I
they
mean,
have
this is gonna
built
be
a
a
mega
close
structure up there.
race all the way
They've
to
got to
the
be
top
low on
here.
mats, right? And then suddenly,
Sphinx
Kelly,
Video
they get
Cooper,
a
though, standing
refresh, and all
strong
you're thinking is, well,
so far,
that's it. They definitely won game
499
one.
points earned.
Yeah, I mean,
over
even
the 2
going
days of
back all the way from the
competition.
beginning, they were able to
also
just
been
clear
one of
out
the few
Demon's
teams to
Dojo,
secure
get
those
all that
victory
loot,
royales.
rotate really quickly, get the Shogun X, Rift Island as
Their strat
well,
so
and
far
get
has
that
been
medallion
relatively,
as well as all
I
of the
would say,
loot that comes
consistent.
with
We
that
haven't seen
too.
them have too much
And then
troubles
taking
just
high
yet.
ground from 8th zone, which is usually something that we don't know, encourage, but they did it so well. Vivid, at one point, they had like a 4-wide tarp. They just had no... They gave no chance for anyone to even try and chop them down. And there was a few moments where we saw Ager's trio kind of picking up and then giving up, trying to take height.
Storm
Zone A, Zone 9, that pivotal point of the game where we see a lot of teams actually decide to go up and try to establish that high ground. But Jacob and Nib, they talked about it a bunch. 2 eliminations, those big refreshes coming during that 8th zone. Boom, they went up to the high ground. They're like, wow, we have so many materials.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, think about who they get to choose from. Like, Buddha's team's already gone. Now it's up to Peterbot's team.
Structure, and then Ryan Kanata's POV, and Kanata still has max map, so it's like, oh, okay, well, I think this team's going to win the game. It seemed like it was pretty easy for them. They had that one figured out.
You can see there's a lot of empty inventory
when you pair that as well with that coin, you know, it's just a sheer destructive force that just locked down game number 1, which is a bummer for us, right? Because that means the next time we see them is next weekend in Major 1 Finals, but there's still more to break down. After this short break, we'll talk about other duels performing well and take a look at the standings. So,
that's Skittles, that's Victor V right down below him as well, along with Chimp, and it's all or nothing right now for Muzz in a 2-tick zone without any heals. It comes down to this moment, and it's Storm Surge that takes him down. Yapko, even though he gets some damage, it's Storm itself that takes him down, leaving Rise to abandon the play and try to finish this one out as a solo, but no! Rise goes down as well. Storm Surge taking down another one of our premier teams.
What a situation to unfold here, Jacob. I mean, it just doesn't get worse than this for them. It was looking so good until it wasn't, and now the podium starts to open up and space is being made. Can Clicks, Batman, Bugatti, you have to take advantage of this is the question at this point. I mean, it's all up to everyone else now.
The start of this game, roughly like 13 points down from second place, which is Muzz, Yapko, and Rise. Placement points haven't even been given yet, and they find even more eliminations. That's their 8th one. Now, I feel like they've overtaken them on the leaderboard. Down 13 to start the game, 4 eliminations at 16 points. Depending on how many Yapko, Muzz, and Rise were able to grab before they went down, the cold has been dropped. Peterbot, Ritual, now it's just Peterbot. I believe Ritual just went down, fully eliminated, and they're quickly on the offensive. That's Pikes, that's Aoxy, that's Jojo Fishy on the other side, and this could be a big confidence-boosting win for them.
Definitely love to see it right now. Peterbot has to pick up cold here. Can they bounce back? Man, disaster happening everywhere right now. So unfortunate for everyone that's a fan of Peterbot. Was hoping for them to go ahead and take the lead, and just like that, Jacob, looks like everything is crumbling. But if you're Agers, if you're Acorn, if you're Pollo, you're so excited about how this is all playing out so far.
Now you can kind of see him right now, 75, a couple of good shots, 107. Storm Surge is going to be a worry for them as this game does continue. Rapids down. We saw him take a damage a few moments ago. They pool boxed up, the double revive. That's going to take no trouble to get them back up as a trio. And immediately you see them going for work, hunting, trying to figure out who is nearby that they can try to take on.
I'm just watching, paying close attention to that damage threshold right now that's starting to lurk and creep up on everyone in our competition right here. 95 above, pressure looming, full trio in front of them. Can Peterbot and Cold do it once again here? Can they continue to find their opportunities to claw back into it? Of course they can. You can't count them out. They're still extremely, extremely dangerous.
Smiley definitely put a smile on my face, I'll tell you that much. They didn't even see it for that moment, but Peterbot's reactions are just way too quick to let that one fly. You see the top of the mountain, Clicks, Batman, Bugha, Yamso, one of them, Curve, Tyler,
welcome
Shadow,
back
another
to
team.
The FNCS. We just got done with game number 1, where Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts,
that mountain to open up.
they just put out a clinic, right? They just said, hey, we would just like to go ahead and secure ourselves a spot on the bus. One battle bus, please, and just walked away with an easy W. I mean, I don't even know what more we can say about this, Kelly, because it just
on the congested side of the zone. It's just pure
it looked like one of those instructional videos you would find on YouTube of like how to win a game in Fortnite.
Still moving,
absolutely incredible, and they just did it so confidently. It didn't look like they struggled in any element of that game. So props to them. I am so excited to see how they perform in the Major 1 plans.
Meanwhile, 32 below now. And
every
there still
stage
is
of the
a
game
fair
right there
amount of
looking for
players that will have to fall here. Peterbot
claiming
will have to get active. They're on the low ground as well. Focus starts to come in from the lobby. They know that they need to get out, and they got to get out quick.
So good. But you know what's interesting?
More pressure
I'm sure
coming
it's
in.
probably got to feel really good for Kanata is to get that victory out against Agers, Acorn, and Pollo. I mean, I know it was a 2v3,
right?
This is why we kind of talked about it at the start of the show, right? They were these trios that kind of swapped Pollo and Kanata. And so in that moment, both are fighting for that victory royale. And, you know, listen, we still have to give props to Acorn.
Needed those resources. 14 material on the Pollo.
Agers, Acorn, and Pollo, because they put on like an amazing performance and still placed top 2, right? So in terms of consistency, this is really good.
Yeah, the recovery that they made from the middle game where we saw, I believe, Acorn got really low. David, you called it out while we were watching that they got this, you know, God med kit out of nowhere. But they were kind of holding down middle ground, and then I think that they were getting a little too low on heals, so they dropped to the low ground, and that's where they get all the refreshes and they need all the loot that they need as well. And Pollo and Agers were just absolutely tearing it up. Even when they did lose Acorn there, they were not putting the foot off of the gas. And getting this amount of eliminations and a second place is definitely putting them into a good position.
Nice cheeky
Listen,
little
I counted them out a long time ago this game. I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't even say shit. So I was like, we tuned in with them. They made a north rotate kind of dead side. We tuned in with them. They were like 100 below. And I'm like, well, you made that dead side rotate. There's not many teams up here because you're on the dead side. So they were kind of forced into a fight. And yeah, after that, you get behind on those rotates. You have to kind of rotate into a bunch of teams that are established in the zone. And yeah, every single time we tune in them throughout the rest of the game, low on Matt, low on Storm Surge, pretty much throughout the rest of the game as well. I counted them out, and they were like, hey, Vivid, we don't care. We put out a second place in that. So I would hate to see what, you know, a decent mid-game from this team looks like, because that, in my opinion, was seriously incredible. To be on the back foot seemingly throughout the entire game and pull out
making
that.
it near impossible
And
for the
just
rest to
think, right,
catch
in a
up if they can't be
situation
stopped
where now
Acorn
Kanata,
does fall
Rapid
here.
Bulls
There's a
are
little
good.
crack
They've
in the armor,
qualified.
but Pollo
They have
follows
even
up.
more breathing
Trying to
room, right?
secure
They
the
have
points here.
even
He
more
gets one. Can he
opportunity
get
to
the
take
second?
over a lot and really get to
Starts
dictate,
to keep
okay,
him in the
we're
game
going to
here.
hold height, or maybe we're going, you know, super low ground on that front side of the zone, which is pretty sweet, right? And as Kelly pointed out, even when they drop a member, they don't care, right? The foot does not come off the gas. They keep finding eliminations. Now, I just want to kind of highlight Oliver OG, who is running around as a solo, and still remember, these solo clutches, they matter, right? Because we're still trying to play for consistency.
Oh yeah, I mean, and also Dash, just again, he was originally on the low ground before Agers Trio was able to drop down there, getting Elim after Elim. But obviously, eventually they do go down, as well as their third player there. Oliver OG, though, making sure, because it's not just about eliminations, it's about those placements as well. So to see them doing pretty well, regardless of how many players are left over, is definitely something I want to see out of the OG of Oliver.
The only ones alive.
Yeah, very easy to kind of talk about the impact of
this is
the solo clutches that we've seen happen so many times already. But you know, on the opposite side, there are some Koreans when we're playing the trio game. Not easy to defend against. Very tough indeed.
Okay, so this should be clear, right? Kelly, Vivid, Agers, Acorn, Pollo, they win game 2, right? That's are we all in agreement here?
Usually, that's how it happens. Yeah.
I'm surprised you're exposing the script so soon, Zeke.
You know, I like to let the Fortnite fan in on the script that I wrote. I stayed up really late writing the script out for the year, and I figured I might as well let them in on it. But again, that was just game number 1. So are you hoping to see any adaptations coming out now that, again, we were moving out Rapid Bulls from this lobby? Not just, you know, Agers, Acorn, and Pollo have breathing room, but everyone else does too.
Well, we saw the drop map over the northwest side that there were so many trios contesting each other, and now Demon's Dojo and all the surrounding area is open for the taking. We've seen trios in Group 2, I believe, actually move over to a new position and get the win in Game 4 or 5. So it is definitely a strategy that some of these trios might be looking towards.
Yeah, in my eyes, that trio, Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts, they claim 3 things that game. Demon's Dojo, now that's open. Shogun X's at Rift Island, now that's open. High Ground, now that's open because of this format. So I'm excited to see what happens in game number 2.
Well, it is time. Game number 2 is ready. So find your seats on the battle bus.
Very
Casters.
nicely done. You couldn't count them out. Give them their flowers. They get a dub again here on the big stage. And that's the best they've done so far. far from 5th place now. They will surely be up in a top 3 conversation here, given that all that close competition.
Yeah, that game was a huge surprise. I didn't expect so many teams to be at the Flooded Frogs for the books for them. And you know what?
Kind of went that moment here.
I guess it makes sense, right?
How many teams are contesting that northern area zone championship here? And I can't wait to see how it's going to go down. Take a look, though,
with game number 2
from the other side.
See how it goes.
It was just easy street at this point.
Yeah, Bulk did what he could. Orbs tried to drop his weight down, but 3v1, too much to overcome.
It's either win the game or just stay inside of that
done and dusted. Monster, there's only 2 games left, and 3 people I trust to break down the action. Zeke, Kelly, and Vivid
saw 2 different
group stages. In Group 1, it was a lot of the teams outside of the top 5 winning those games, getting the major run final spots. In Group 2, it was teams inside of the top 5 getting those wins, which would lower the point threshold.
Trio to zone in 8. We saw them use those bats to teleport ahead of time. They saw the moment we get that circle, we're going for it. And look at this. We get a victory Roy out of this game. You know, Clix is going crazy. You know, Eomzo is stoic. You know, Batman Booga is lighting up right now. I mean, man, to do this in game 10 with 2 more games to go, there's so much momentum behind them right now.
I really feel like that momentum started on the island in game number 9, where they were able to hold off Peterbot's trio and kind of bully them off of Rift Island, and to see them now finally get their victory royale after getting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. This is what we have been waiting for. I can only imagine how Clix's channel is popping off right now.
So I don't think this was a wrong play for them to make.
Incredible stuff, right? But what a weird game. I feel like all the 9 games before this, we've seen trios alive, right? All the big name trios. There's been a solo clutch here and there.
This fight here, it's up to
game
Carrot right now. Seems to be the last warrior standing at the
trios kind of alive in that end game, of course, except for
teams are on the hunt here.
Batman, Booga, and Eomzo right there, surviving on the low ground, finding the eliminations, just staying up as a trio. That's what won the game for them. Congratulations.
But unfortunately, they couldn't best the drop here. And this is going to be good for G's, Gary, and Doxy, who obviously had things kind of drag out for them last game, so they shouldn't be third party this time. Or at least be well prepared for the teams that are going to rotate in.
Yeah, just a lot more time for them to kind of loot up. And like you said, the very worst, be a little bit more aware of all the surrounding teams. Night Shifts Forest. This is where Pollo, Acorn, and Aegis land. And I say Night Shifts Forest, but you see how much respect they have, just like Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts on the other side of the map. They not only get the actual POI, but they get so much of the surrounding space around it as well. It's going to allow for Pollo to push up, get an eye on Bird, see what teams are there, see what's going on, and really assess the situation perfectly for the team.
Hold up, though. We got to jump to the Magic Mosses, where fights are taking place right now. Going on here.
It's not every day you see the wind sprite being used, kind of granting a little bit of elevation, but it is going to come down with 1 player knocked. They're trying to rush this revive, keep him alive with the splashes, but pressure's coming from underneath, not wanting to let it be an easy revive, but it is going to be a 2v2. One team having a big health advantage, though.
Bobby's already finished. They still have their down teammate. They're going to look to back up here as the other team starts to rotate in. Shots flying. Things are settling now. I like the full call here to just heal up, as Mist is trying to play defensive ball right now. Not sure if that's the right call here. Nope, Status comes through and runs him down. The Reds is going to have to try to get this pickup, but no, instead, the full-on disengage here. He's just going to go ahead and opt out of the fight, but look at this. He's rotating right into a fresh trio off to his side. They don't see him just yet.
It's almost going to be like a 50-50 here. He's either going to get tore up by that other trio, or that other trio is going to get distracted by Prom, Status, and Mafia, allowing him to disengage. And it does look like Prom's going to just kind of move on back. He spotted out that trio, but the trio spotted him as well. It's all about if they're going to be chasing the solo. This is going to look like they're just going to end up fighting trio versus trio. That was almost best case scenario. And I think there's an additional team towards the north that's slowly but surely moving in to get Surge.
That's what looks so wild about it. It's like you see all this natural cover, all these trees. They have no idea how much threat is really in this area. It's not just a solo on the run. No, there are lurkers nearby. And they're looking to collapse in and see what kind of damage they can take from this fight potentially here. Dragon's going to be one of the first to be a casualty of this exchange here. You It's almost looking like it's all duos left alive.
Yeah, this is a team right here, even without Dragon. They like to take the situation just a little bit aggressive, box to box. That's how they typically get their surge. But when things don't go right, it's not necessarily the best for them. They're going to have to recollect. But Status Mafia from once were the aggressors. They turned out to disengage, but once again, finding an open opportunity to the upper hand. They continue to push forward as Rojo on the other side, but he's getting pushed into the whole duo, trying to cut back, but it's just not going to be enough.
Welcome back to the FNCS.
Is going to be
That's
intact.
it for the FNCS. You guys have made it too. All right.
Last player alive, Fishy, is going to be able to do just that. Stay alive. He got about 5 minutes on those
we obviously
reboot cards.
had an unbelievable game.
To be able to use that time
Yamzo clicks Batman Booga.
Yeah,
they give themselves a big royale. In game number 10. Going into this game, there was a very clear, defined lead.
Yeah, he's really
and with that game, suddenly, this trio are now looking to contend with Peterbot. We are only 30 points behind Peterbot. Kelly,
shots in the north.
Are you seeing the beauty of my script? I write it so that clicks beats Peterbot. Are you seeing the beauty of my script?
You know, I complimented you yesterday on it, but today this really is your magnum opus. A beautiful cinema if there ever was one. And it's still not over yet, right? We're jumping the gun a little bit here. There is still two more games to go,
so they're not going to have the full trio to be able to spot him out and get that damage.
It's a little bit of a two-parter where it's not just what is Clix, Batman Booga, and Yamzo doing right, but also where is Ritual Cold and Peterbot falling short?
Being able to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're kind of talking about this, right? Like the lead between first and second place. I mean, Aegis and Acorn Employer, they just look untouchable. I mean, nothing is faulting them. They were low on mass that game. They did not go down at all. I think it was like 7th or 6th. Where it was like,
this is a finals
yeah, they got like 60 builds. Like this rotate looks nearly impossible. And then like a zone later, you tune back with them, and it's like, yeah, they're still the same mats, and they're just fishing. Like everything's completely fine. All 3 of them were just fishing. I don't know what it is. This trio just has everything kind of figured out. Doesn't matter what position they're in. They're just going to go for it. They've got some plan. Honestly, it's just got to be the Elans, right? They're just so cohesive as a trio. Obviously,
great opportunity.
Somehow
you can see another in progress fight. Use the Typhoon Blade to break through the builds, cause chaos, cause confusion, not knowing where to position yourself. And he has his teammates there just walking down his opponent as well. So he really stood no chance at all.
I mean, honestly, Vivid, I think what you talked about at the start of the show really hit the nail on the head right here. How they're able to kind of just, you know, have so much control over on the west side of the map, being able to farm up while Aegis and Poyo are able to get these tags, just allows them such an ease into the middle and late game. And although we haven't seen a win from this trio, it doesn't really matter, especially when they're able to make it to the end game time and time again and get those eliminations as well.
Very nice to them.
But Zeke, this isn't just a story of who's getting first, although obviously that is where the prestige is. This is who is going to the global championship.
So,
I mean, look, we're fighting for it, right? I mean, to have this come down to this, 2 games left to go, and now Clix jumps up. But I also want to turn attention there to 4th place, right? Rapid, Kanata, Bolts, they jump up 4 placements. Now, they're still, what is that, like 61 points behind 3rd place. But anything can still happen, right? We can still see that gap be closed within a single game, right? And to see like Kanata and his trio just firing on all cylinders, like how many times in these like now 10 games have we been like, oh, time to cut to the wide shot, let's see where everyone's located. You just look up, you're like, yep, there they are on height once again. Like I'm happy to see them performing so well right now, and to know they're only 61 points behind. They could look to make a strike.
Pull forward
100%. And honestly, to see them go from 7th after day 1 to now in 4th place, just 30 points away, or I'm sorry, just a handful of points away from our 1st and 2nd place. I'd love to see it. Bolts here doing a good job as you could in a 1v3. Obviously, there's only so much you can do in that situation. But I mean, like you said, they're constantly in the high ground there. I think maybe they need to just wait a little bit longer, be a little bit more patient with what we've seen from Munz's trio. But still, they're clearly climbing up the leaderboard right now, and that's all you can really ask for.
This is a very interesting strategy.
Speaking about the leaderboard, I think the one thing that we're going to have to focus on, Zeke, of course,
played this
game number 11.
They kind of stick to the
It's going to be Peterbot, Cold and Ritual versus Clix, Batman, Booga, and Yamzo, right? There's going to be a lot of pressure being put on the Peterbot trio. This last couple of games, those early fights were not being found. The Storm Surge, for the first time, probably all of this season, they're below Storm Surge. Right now, Clix, Batman, Booga, Yamzo, it looks like they have a serious, real chance to go ahead and take that 2nd place spot.
standings do the
and
talking
I love that Kelly called this out, right? This started in Game 9. This started when Clix took the fight to Peterbot on that island.
Yeah.
And it proved gods can bleed. What does that mean for these last 2 games? Will Clix do it again? If he can look to push Peterbot off, he could qualify to the Global Championships.
And it is one of those things that you can be on top of the Shattered Span Bridge, highest elevation, and still fish down. And that's why you've seen the importance of carrying those fishing rods, because as long as you have a little bit of water near you, that gives you the opportunity to get those floppers, get those shield fish.
Zeke always at the fadeaway as well. Game number 11 is here. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, Jacob. And they said it correctly. One little engagement can change the entire course for a trio, and it all went downhill on that out of position.
Yeah, it went downhill fast, and that's leading into some of these other games. Zeke's saying he can't take it. My heart can't handle this either, but there's only 2 more games left. This is where it comes down to playing as perfect as possible. And a lot of that comes with this next opportunity, because the battle bus is ready, Monster. Let's get into it.
That last game, especially Oliver OG late in the game, picking up key solo
Major
clutch
one
points.
Finals, Game 11 is here, and we get to take
it keeps you in contention of the top 5.
The world, I should say.
Continues
first. Once
have
again,
that confidence held
I'm looking
high.
forward to it. It's going to be cutting up the upper half, so teams
Gaming,
like
rotating up from
Peterbot, of course, will be able to touch down first at the Flooded Frogs. Will we see
their bets here that
DC,
is going to rotate
Noah
closer to Seaport City, so they're trying to be one of the first teams here before it gets a little bit congested.
Will start to play out here shortly as we jump in, but
got to be careful though, because more and more teams
have to ask that
question. In this favor.
What will
we'll start to stack that side of the zone.
Peterbot do? How are they going to adjust their gameplay? What can they adjust in order to kind of complete the strategy and get back on the right side of the damage in the early time? All parties hurt
here. Be a little bit more proactive.
They're sitting in the storm
and not necessarily, I feel like, have a one-sided game plan. A lot of their early game surge comes down to those box-to-box fights, and right now they're either not necessarily getting as much damage as they want, even if they pick up the eliminations, or they're not getting those exchanges at all due to so many other teams switching up their drop spots altogether.
Off running. He takes the
Poyo, Agers, Acorn, business as usual. The clear split, but the new fight that we saw at the end of the last game, we see the end again. Visuals, Braids, and Diminish have come out in the second half of the day looking for revenge. Bandages, but just no time to be able to use
on the visuals phase.
Even if enough goes down here, yeah, they're still going to get the elimination
on
the furthest.
At the box,
that Cypher is definitely going to pay dividends because it's allowing them to save the med kit for a later time, especially with the zone pulling towards the south. They're definitely going to need that. Got to be feeling. And that damage you spoke about him getting rebooted. That damage is going to help original game plan landing over here. Focus on your rotation. Foxy Floodgates, a lot of material, resources, and positioning center of the map as they move on over to Hopeful Heights. Something that we've seen for at least 10, 9, 10 of these games so far. I know some of these people switched up their drop. The Skater with a flank onto Chaos. He's trying to get out, but Dash is there on the other side as well, and he gets taken down. Great move by Chaos Gaming, causing that amount of chaos in such a tight situation, and able to come out with a knock.
Shieldfish, to be honest. Yeah, I think this is definitely the story of this trio right here, right? They kind of mix things up. They recognize, like, hey, if we could beat a team at a different drop,
it's only like a 50-50
we could beat the team at our drop. Let's just play a little bit faster, and that's kind of what you talked about it seemed to do, and it has been working out
of the lobby
so far.
Rapid Boats and Kanata
opens up a lot of space here out for him. I was going to say, I'm not sure if he has enough to go in and finish his fight.
Very useful in the right hands of both. Sandman taking a little bit too much damage, scrambling around, trying to stay alive.
They come out on top once again here at the anywhere inside. What they did last time was they immediately rotated there, right? They didn't allow the third-party teams to come in.
DGen finds the time to finally reunite, and this is where it's just a big and risky situation here on top of the island. Multiple teams beginning contested. Switching up their drop spots yet again. 3 straight games this time around. Going towards the south portion of the map, over towards the bird, contesting AOC Pikes and JoJo Fishy. Neither team really getting elimination. That's going to force out kind of disengage.
Game 2.
Kind of return back to looting, grabbing your resources, materials, but there's so many early game scuffles going down. They realize with only 2 games left, there's only so much time, only so many points on the map to really make up any bit of deficit. Aaron's down, Joji's following, Drewbot, Clixie, and Press are making good work early on.
This is good for them.
on Champ,
I would say bad for others in the area that have been depending on kind of rotating in and finding these
but they also don't want
battles ongoing, or there's weaker players in the field like Peterbot and team have been doing when they've gone to the west side. So
on the other
we'll see how these little things start to affect the overall
possibly trying to sneak some damage away on this team doing the boss and any team down below.
Lost Lake
especially with the
It's already yielded them a pretty decent
teams that are
loadout,
rotating in the
they have
north,
to
the
get to
Magic
the action
Mosses,
here
the
as well.
Flooded Frogs, the Lost Lakes. They will
Yeah,
have
see
to
them
go
already going towards the
them or
western
each
side of the
risk their
map.
position in order to find themselves in the
Those
safety
teams
side of the
Whippy.
zone.
And so on, but Noah, he's already the first one taken down. That was not in his team that was able to get that elimination. And right now they finished the fight, taking down Chaos Gaming as well. I see a lone solo at the top side of the map. His teammate come to fruition. I gotta imagine that maybe
very curious as to how this is gonna end up working out.
Swappy.
I believe they might be first-time finalists kind of in the mini-map. The medallion going from each side of the island, back and forth, back and forth. Opportunity to try to steal it away, even if another team did start it. But now everybody has that luxury, the safety of the arena. Some have a far pull to go. They're trying to make that rotation quick. Timing is absolutely important.
It's actually
in terms of your rotations, you rotate a little bit too late, you become stuck in the zone focus. You rotate too early, the same thing. You become focused by teams that are already in the zone, watching others that have to make their way in as well.
Clix, Iamzo, Batman, Bugha, they were in a group without Peterbot, Poyo, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, and how they were getting their surge is very, very similar to Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual getting their surge. They move towards the western side of the map, and they usually fight 18 box to box, depending on where the zone pulls. And that's why you see them more times than not parallel with each other. They've already fought a few times throughout the course of the tournament, and now they're getting confident, having beat them already once in a 3v3 fight. Now they realize, hey, maybe this is a team we can just follow around, get some surge on, and weaken their game plan. That way we can overtake them on the leaderboard.
That was the third team
definitely
that was up
playing
there
with
as
fire
well.
right now, though.
When you have to rotate off of the Shogun's arena and you don't have a mask, that's going to be one of the harder rotations you're going to make. You're just susceptible to so much damage because you kind of glide down. But Sharkman route makes to the mountain even with all this fishing, left their position stagnant, sacrificing storm surge. They have to fall themselves below and falling fast. 114, but they on the other side. And Agers, couple shots are going to land, but taking place here.
Lots of teams engaging here on the southern portion of the zone right now.
This is a good team right
here. They seem like they've had their fair share of the action.
A lot of success out of them, but
this fight right now, this loadout doesn't seem like they have enough
drastic
firepower
a zone that we've seen throughout the tournament so far. North to Max Meadows, looking like it's going a little bit
position
east
themselves inside
from Twinkle
the
Terrace.
City.
So a lot of familiarity. So
that they are having
Sphinx. They just
a
got to
harder
dig into their
time than
playbook,
usual, finding
figure
the
out what
damage
play to run on this one.
comfortable
Because right now, where they typically get surge around Max Meadows, all those teams are already rotating towards the north.
This is
From
not
Demon's Dojo, though. Kanata, Rapid, Bolts, quick to rotate to the Boxcars Mountain. This is one of those mountains where you can kind of spread up. Two people in one tower, one person across the map, cover more ground. Then you get the whole western side of the map, and you get the whole eastern side of the map as possibilities for storm surge.
Facing casualties, Acorn clutching up for his side. Here clearly has been working very well for Kanata Rapid and Bolts right now.
Found one down below. Sharkman getting a little bit too aggressive, overzealous up above. He's trying to solidify the elimination.
And
basically sacrifice himself for the 3 points.
In the early game.
Against Agers and Acorn, that's a team that you kind of want to tear apart. But Seaport City seems to be in the center of this next zone. Even though they have their backs up against the zone itself, it will open up for them a lot of space and time to move around.
There's another team lurking nearby, just on the outside as well.
Kind of benefit from that exchange. 500 above for one, 932 above for Acorn and Agers. Trying to fix the problem that they had in game 1 in Surge, but it just costed them a whole weak link in their armor in that last game. Unfortunate enough, they were down on Surge. The only team nearby was Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, who immediately disengaged. So they had to kind of disperse in 3 different directions, and they all fell because of it.
Visuals now,
Peterbot back to what they do best, trying to fight for Surge. They end up so far on the west side, just left the night ships for us. That's where Aoxy, Jojo Fishy, and Pikes usually end up. Especially on the high ground, looks like the full trio there, ready to take on the likes of Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. Let's not forget what we last saw as well. They get the reboot off just to the east here as well. Normally there's 3 widespread towers, I think he will. This is definitely on the riskier side for engagements after they sit out here. So forget playing super had to do. Acorn, Agers, they made the call, they stuck to it. And you look at where they're at in the zone as well. I talked about it opening up. They opened up and immediately went for the reboot, granting them the extra time and space with no team having rotated yet.
Of the high ground here too. Look at that north side, right? That's exactly what I'm talking about. And there isn't a real team solidified up top other than the team that they just
trying to take piece control, like you were saying.
Don't really know.
A lot of their fights have ended
Acorn and
just one shot really making the difference. Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, some taking too much damage. Possibly going down, kind of forced to disengage.
This is...
And now they realize with only 2 games left, they can no longer make those sorts of mistakes.
If you think about it,
it's not close to the water as possible, even while spread around like this. Peterbot goes down. The mistake has been made. Cole getting pounced on. He's getting forced down below. Him and Ritual need to figure out a way to survive because their second place is on the line. Rotate early, and so far that's going to be tilt. Position in zone.
Probably one of the first
kind of holding them back right now. I mean, they're going to be able to rotate on out. Some of them having kinetic blades, others have the void mass, but they still know timing is taking this team. But so they're quickly trying to be
seems like things
one
are
of the first teams there.
Not looking too great for them right now. So they're going to have to be forced to retreat now back to the safe zone, back to their drop most likely, to go ahead and play for the pickup. We've seen this before.
Here, Agers, Acorn, and Pollo are back in full effect, but I'm
a setback.
Noticing there is a bit of a lack of material, given that they have to split
in. Peterbot just a little distracted on Aoxy's teammate. So he makes that smart play to go in on the side, catch him off guard, get the elimination, force the whole team back. It may not be the worst thing in the world, considering where they're rotating to. The zone is pulling in that direction as Yapko gets the elimination.
Possibly looking to find some
follows.
resolve in the material counts they can pick up on the outer
edge. He's kind of left up alive, but he's just nowhere in sight. He's got to do what he got to do to stay alive. They know they come back to this spot on the map, grab the reboot cards later, give them a chance.
Max, Olaf.
But their chance is really highly dependent on where the zone continues to them above the Storm Surge threshold, 262.
This is it.
Almost from here on out,
game number 11
a lot of these teams, dictating if they get to play.
Last chances now for teams to
split around.
Make it or break
sure
it.
Each and every one of these players are as healthy as can be, as Acorn, Agers, Pollo starting to go on the offensive.
You talked about because of that actually, I thought they'd be on that west side,
they're trying to go ahead and capitalize on it, but they pull zone yet again. One of the first teams
to the activity right now towards the south here.
This is actually working out very well for them, but hold that thought. Chaos Gaming's left by himself now. Can he actually save Mellow Blazer? There are teams looking to collapse in on this loot here potentially. Chaos has to jump out now.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And it is a mad scramble here. That comes out, finds Slingsy with a huge tag there.
Where all that loot is still left on the ground.
He's going to have to rotate here soon.
Before they rotate towards the zone. And if they continue to rotate towards the north and make their way in that side, in theory,
it was going to go and drop
less teams than if they rotate towards the south, try to get them in good position. But on the other side, from looking good, looking clean, to now in a scuffle, Pollo, Agers, Acorn, they find that first elimination on the Swappy. Kicks and Kuzer are the only two possible left on that trio. And it looks like they're not necessarily running away just yet.
This high ground pull by themselves,
they needed to come down here for a fight.
Their material count down and we've seen the problems that this can
fully scared off the duo. What was left of them at least. They backed
it's going to come down to pure
Kicks and Crook don't want anything to do with Pollo, Acorn, and Agers. They saw the feed. They saw who took him down.
In need of an elimination here. You saw it. It was Acorn just having only metal. Agers as well. They're taking down a couple of trios down below.
Jacob
trying to rotate their way in. And this is where they're going to try to use it as the golden opportunity to catch them with that. Making their way in zone. They have shots connecting just yet. They mad scramble in and out of these builds. They're just doing what they can. Even though they didn't get the opportunity they were looking for, they didn't take much damage either.
Threshold. I got to give credit to Pollo's call right there. He saw the edit come out and called for his team to back off. And they came back immediately.
You got to give Acorn all the credit in the world for making that adjustment to go south instead of east.
Although
find the elimination
in a tough situation, are playing very sharp Fortnite right now. Aldro G Dash and Skater
that plays out pretty quick two-tap right there.
But also in need of a big elimination. They just found one.
Jump in. Acorn somehow
gets sniped
seemingly
by another trio there
now by Curve.
Meanwhile,
Tyler's here as well.
Decky Fishy
something fishing for damage right now. Rotating across here out of the zone.
No heals on this team now.
There's a splash, but they've got plenty of gas in the tank here. They're
desperate for where's
right now. Go the distance right now. Surely Tyler Team has to recognize that.
Players need to go down. It's going to turn
out that they didn't.
Just a little bit more action. But Oliver Dash Skater to be able to break in, take down Jesse. Separate him from the rest of his trio. Bo's going to go down as well. Bo's going to be the only one left. But
just massive
right now. The way switching around, they get pressured on the back. But it's them that's holding their position on that layer. The other team chooses to go below. They're trying to bypass him underneath. Will it work out? Immediately going in, getting that elimination, backing up his teammate from the other side of the map.
To bring it back to the high ground.
Teams just going elimination for elimination. Peterbot Cold Ritual has a deficit to overcome with shots like that. You see them landed,
game one
helping their surge game, but
game two. Now this is where the points are really going to start to rack up here.
That's Chance, Donnie, and Mason, and they immediately
looking for any opportunity to make something big as well.
Landing some shots,
but everyone's beginning to gas out here. It's
cost so much material on this eastern side.
This zone is pulled further and further away from everyone else. Acorn plays the front side of the zone right now.
Peterbot back in the mix right now.
To them.
They have things solidified up top. No one has contested here. Yet. Ooh, nice little find there onto Neto.
You can see the damage right now coming out from Boyle. The pressure on the Quansi. Really not wanting to give a chance to come out of zone, but down below, Bucky trying to make a play. He goes down. Opus is feeling the pain as well. Craze is forced to try to back up, save the day, but the zone is there, and so is Champ. Quick down onto one. They're trying to get the eliminations. Siphon's going to be so fruitful. He gets the knock. He just needs to stay alive long enough for the Siphon to come into play. He gets dropped down to 76 HP. Shield gone just like that. With a moment to breathe, and he's going to come out. Possibly the water sprite as well, depending on what other resources the teammates have. That's Nerf. That's Aaron and Joji right above. And this isn't a team you want to rotate parallel next, especially with how their games have been going down on
the other teams, and their HP is looking
they continue to put the pressure down on Aaron. Him trying to reunite Nerf-based Joji as well. This is where it's going to begin to start getting scary for these teams.
Pollo is making sure that they didn't put that opportunity in vain. Opus down below, still scrambling in and out of the zone. Has the flopper left, but no time to use it. That's Craze just leading the path, trying to give him some extra cover on the other side, but they're getting smudged to the low ground. Craze with the medallion makes a play on the crook on the other side, bringing it down to a 3v2, but he gets dropped as well. Opus by himself, and he doesn't stand a chance.
Necessarily have a mask that makes it
pull off
that
a big
much
win.
Harder for him to try to create distance.
Nicely done there. Game
Ritual continuously on his tail. Finally, the knock is going to come in along with the elimination. That one's going to get cleaned up.
They did it in the end, and it was not easy.
They were rotating already in the direction of zone as they get the knock on the Joji as well. So Aaron and Joji down and out. So they were leaving Nerf-based by himself and gave 11 to have a clutch opportunity.
That was a risky move, and it ended up
to take for the road here. So this is
congratulations to them. Take a look at it. Recovery opportunity for them to get the match. We knew at this moment when Pollo went down to pick up those materials and then come back up and he found the Siphon. They had the game on lock right there. You saw the information being given out after every knock there. That's a huge benefit to have when you got that extra medallion. Give you that information right there. And he just made it look easy from
just outside the Magic Mosses.
Yeah, whoever made that call to go for the reboot onto Pollo
on the eastern side of the Demon's Dojo,
that win. Agers,
not looking too hot here. What's going on with them?
Qualified for the Major 1 finals, but 2 matches are down. Analysts, too many chances trying to get Surge. You see just below them at Pump at least 3, maybe
guys, I don't want to say I
likely what they were fighting against as they continue to try to rotate north. They got to be careful. Tony, Creon, and Zeus are the ones on top of that mountain already, and Threats, Booga, they're going to feel a little bit of that pain.
I told you shouldn't expose it. Now everything.
Tony, Creon, and Zeus just a little bit more for their Surge game because they're focused on trying to rotate in, especially since you don't want to get cut off on that rotation.
Anyway, Acorn Agers Victory Royale. You know, friends, it was looking a little dicey.
We're just hopping back and forth to teams that matter.
As our casters pointed out from the beginning of the game, but hey, when in doubt, reboot Pollo, go on to win a game.
Paying attention to right now.
Yeah, and it was a lot of diciness throughout the entirety of that game. Even once Pollo was brought back up, taking high ground with so little mats. And it's really interesting to see the differences between this win and Game 1 win, where Game 1, Kanata's Trio was holding height with like 4 wide structure, and this one you can see it's wood built, it's a single structure that could have easily been chopped, but somehow they were able to pull it out. Smart plays from the trio on getting those minor refreshes, and even winning by zone 11, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of an interesting
back
game.
south towards the Magic Mosses right now.
Yeah, definitely a fast one for sure. But
for now,
I mean,
I'm not too
cannot
believe
believe
the zone.
They did it again. You know, I said it after game number 1 in second place, and then how the heck did they do that? They were shambled the entire game. On the game number 2, how the heck did they do this? They were shambled, right? Pollo got knocked every single time we tuned into them. After Pollo got knocked and rebooted,
fighting it out.
They're just trying to have more than like 20 builds on a single person ever on the high ground, but it's like nobody was paying attention. Whether that be because of the, you know, everybody's kind of afraid to kind of look up at a height and get the pressure received from the trio that's up there. You know, this type of lobby that we're playing in group number 3 here, nobody's really interested in it. But yeah, that single wide structure right there, a lot of it being woods.
Has proven to be worth it at the end of the day. Almost 8,000 above the damage threshold. Really improving
at the end of the day. They're going through to the Major 1 finals, right? They've got their seat on the bus, and now
take your
they just have to keep that prep going and see what they can do in the Major 1 finals. For now, though, we have to go to a short break. When we return, Game 3, and of course, more things to break down. So stay tuned.
Richmond Peterbot here, still fighting their way to the safety. They're not quite there just yet. Still have a little bit of a ways to go. Maybe now they get some time. They do have a fishing rod, so this could be the recovery point for them, Jacob.
Yeah, exactly. Now that they have the surge, this is something similar that we did see in the previous games where they were well above that threshold. Get themselves not necessarily the most highest point on the map, but just so they can kind of go through uncontested through these next couple of zones, all depending on where it's going to pull. You can see Clix, Batman, Boo, and Yamzo the most points so far, passing Virgo, Noxy, and their trio, who has been performing phenomenally well throughout the day as well.
Gotta keep it interesting now. 725 damage above the thresh. So they've definitely done enough. Wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Boyo, Agers, and Acorn starting to feel the pressure starting to loom on top of them now, but look at this zone. They pull that as well, so less worry for them about positioning, more now about just focusing in on the damage. Kanata, Bolts, and Rapid do have this little bit of high ground here. Oh, look at this. Aviv as well. It's positioned up for some high ground. They're just trying to break it out. They ain't trusting it.
Yeah, I feel like that is where the zone is kind of heading. So they don't have the opportunity to one-hop it with the Void Orb just yet. So they're trying to drop it down so no other teams can take it either. They're content with their positioning, probably waiting for the next zone as they look for more damage. Badil, Cooper Sphinx, 800 above. A much different performance for them as well with some of the games that we've seen so far. Badil having to clutch as a solo, the whole team being down on Storm Surge. Great opportunity. And speak of that, Cold Ritual and Peterbot sneaking up on the phrase. That one even hurt me. Visuals, no! He didn't even see it in a minute. She's trying to escape as a solo. Luckily for him, they're not getting too greedy because they got the elimination, the resources, and the spot and zone that they were looking for.
I mean, they are just getting served the championship dub on a platter right now at this rate. These pickups are incredible. Let's see it. These are a lot of points. This is exactly what Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold need right here, and the mats. Could it be the turning point in the tournament here in the late half to keep it interesting? We'll just have to find out, but Kanata, Rapid, Bolts keeping their story alive right now. We talked about how the zone was likely to position its way towards the north. They had a feeling of it. It's true. It's going that way. Everyone has to dip now. Clix, Yamzo, Batman, Booga on the way there as well. And this is where things are going to start getting interesting now as we're into the end game here.
Clix is so quick at setting up those pre-edits.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FNCS. Game number 2 wrapped up by Koyo, Acorn, and Agers.
Donnie Chance.
So we got a second place in game number 1. Come back for game number 2, get themselves the victory royale. We got to talk about it right before going to break, though, in a very shambles situation. But look, they still got that victory royale.
They get to the front side, not
yeah,
quite in just
yet. Honestly, that might actually speak a bit more highly of them, that even when everything else isn't going their way, they're still able to pull out the win there. So big props to them. I felt like maybe I was downplaying the win a little bit, so I'd like to rescind that statement there. An absolutely incredible trio to make that recovery. But Vivid, what I'm curious about is high ground is so weird since trios has kind of been a thing, and then we've seen it last chapter where so many people were afraid of high ground. They didn't even look to it because of Peterbot and Koyo, and now they're not even in this group. So, or I guess Peterbot's not in this group. So why is high ground being just kind of ignored?
If anybody's going to have a chance,
it could just be, people are timid of it, right? They know that the amount of pressure that can come out in a trios game when you have 3 players that can potentially beam you, destroy some of your structures. So sometimes it can be very, very risky. But honestly, Acorn, Koyo, Agers, they were just taking advantage of the fact that most of the lobby was on the back side of the zone, right? Nobody was really cleaning that front side. Nobody was really established. So they were able to apply pressure to just one side of the zone. And just pretty much the entirety of the lobby. It's honestly just how that game right there play out. And we also have to remember, since we're kind of doing this group stage right now, we're not necessarily getting hype teams in every single one of these groups, right? Maybe some of the teams that kind of plan to play hype,
no way they need to play this aggressively otherwise. They want the points.
Interesting. And wonder that becomes in the great dash for height.
They only have
we'll see what happens in game 3 and 4 and 5, of course, but we wanted to highlight a few trios for you. We want to start in 7th place. Oliver, OG, Dash, and Skater. They've actually been getting more consistent after the first 2 games, right? Game 1, 10th place, 7 Elam, but now we have a 7th 7th place with 4 elims, so we're really targeting this consistency factor right now.
Less than 40 points.
Yeah, and that's, you know, if you can't get the win, then you might as well go for that. They've already proven themselves to be low mid-round warriors, being able to grab a bunch of eliminations and make it into the end game every single time. They only just need 3 more games of this performance and they'll pretty much solidify themselves into that top 5 consistency.
It was kind of funny this game, right? They used that free-edit strategy that kind of was their demise in game number 1 against their opponents in that game right there. But, you know, still going out a little bit early, I would like to see the entire crew kind of stay alive, establish a position throughout some of those moving zones, so that way they can get and break into that top 5.
And this is what they do best. This is where Acorn
I like it. Another true to toss away. Bucky, of course, paired up with Opus and Praise. I can just hear, like, you know, Bucky in my, like,
behind you. It just doesn't get better. But look at this. Batman, Boogie, Yamto, and Clix know better.
You know, we start game 1, 19th place and nothing.
They're going to have to get cut off there. No heavy massive. Peterbot goes to high ground, giving a B. Boogie threat to run for their money. And he's still working.
I mean, this trio here, out of all the trios that have been beating in Group 3, are one of the only ones that's actually played all div cups together. They are also one of the only teams that has got a victory royale. Although we haven't really seen the perfect situation for them exactly, I do think that this trio is now looking to probably take that high ground in Game 3 and go for the win. I mean, at one point, Craze had 2 mythic weapons. I don't understand how that happens. As well as legendary, that is absolutely crazy. If he can get that into his hands once again, then this is going to be a show-in for them.
I mean, when they were still a trio up, I was actually looking for Zafin to win that game. We knew how shambles high ground was. That, you know, like we already mentioned, they had less than like 10 builds each. But yeah, unfortunately, Bucky ended up going down, like I mentioned before. All the lobby being on the backside of the zone right there with Raze, Lucas, and Bucky looking for elimination just became too hard to keep them all up. But still, nonetheless, a very good
first or second place here. That's about a 30-point swing.
I love the breakdown, guys. I also wanted to highlight third place there. Silly. Jargana, so sorry if I pronounced names wrong. And King on Expo as well. Currently sitting at 120 points. So in just 2 games, they're looking really, really good, as we've seen in kind of previous point thresholds. You want around that like 190 point threshold to feel kind of comfortable, but you still want to make sure you solidify that top 5 for consistency is concerned. What are we hoping to see now that we kind of had these 2 Titan trios qualify? I feel like it's anyone's game right now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of it can come down to luck, like we heard some of the casters say, where that zone pulse is really important. How these players are going to be able to adapt. We have seen teams win by changing drop spots in the group stages. So there's a lot of opportunities here, but they only have 3 more games to figure that out. So right now, it's going back to the drawing board, talking to the coaches if they have them, and seeing what they can do.
Yeah, drop spots are going to be opening up now. I know we had an amazing kind of situation yesterday. There was like 10 teams towards a drop spot that had just opened up. So maybe we'll see some early game action out of that. But yeah, I want to see some more fights for Hydreigon. So far, our first 2 games, it's kind of been an easy ride up there, but switch things up and make it a little more chaotic.
What a game that was.
That's interesting. In EU, you know, we saw a lot of that yesterday, right? Players fighting for that high, not just letting it go. So maybe now's our time, everybody. Just look up, and if you see the single build with structures, they're probably shambles. Probably go ahead and fight them, but we'll have to see how things go. We're now entering game number 3, basically that halfway point, so pressure is on. Casters, pretty good.
Weak. That was a perfect opportunity.
Oh my God. I'm interested now to see who's going to take the night shift Forest, right? With the teams on that side entering or exiting. Will Somerset or someone mix up the drop, right? There's a lot of squads right now that have yet to really find their footing so far. And Jacob, with the games dwindling down, it's now or never. Make a shift. Yeah, we've already seen after that first game, 2 teams move over towards Demon's Dojo because of the amount of space that was commanded. Same thing at Night Shifts Forest. It's going to be a big question, but with the game ready, it's going to be answered.
We're supposed to talk about Quanti here. Violet Edgy. And the victory out moment.
Game 3 is on the line here. Who can take the win and send themselves to the finals? Who will find the placement points and the elimination points they need to solidify themselves up the standings here? It's a best case scenario right now
because we have to celebrate this trio. Quanti, Violet, Edgy getting themselves a victory royale.
Those victory royales. So
man, this was a chaotic game. And this is like when you want to do stuff like this, right? You want to make in these last few games, try and get as many points as you can to get themselves even a second place with the elims that they did. This could mean they're now playing for a life-changing amount of money, and that in itself is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the leaderboard after we get back from break because I want to see where they were before this game. Because jumping up into 12th place and just seeing, you know, their match history going down in 28th, 30th, some of these games, and to make such a wild improvement to go all the way to first place. And that's not necessarily something that we don't expect from this trio. I mean, Quanti, Edgy, and Viola are all veterans of the game. So I'm so grateful that we got to watch them do what we know that they can do.
Gary's going to be the first to fall there, so nicely done for Somerset's trio.
Peterbot just stole the show that game.
Managed to find his elimination there and the full finish.
And yeah, hit it right on the head of the nail right there, right? Blinded Vital. It's like, what even happened in the game? I'm trying to think, like, I don't know. I mean, height was crazy. That game, we had a couple of teams that were going up for it, but yeah, another one of those classic chaotic games. Now that we're ending kind of, we're towards the end of the competition, these teams are more willing to kind of get chaotic, go for the high ground, pick up some points,
like a bare bones brawl, whatever you get off the spawn,
that's what you got. So the low ground team that stays up as a healthy trio comes out with the win again.
An interesting decision here, though, they kind of give them just a little bit more space. They are separated as Doxy's trying to make a play, catching one out by himself.
We'll talk about you in a second.
Does have the Oni. 4 shots left, though, Monster. He has to pick and choose his battles wisely here.
I genuinely respect the fact that he was just finding his damage, backing off, playing for new angles, not trying to be predictable right now. The splashes come through. This is going to give them the confidence to take another peek. Sieges, though, still hasn't found any shields just yet. But keep in mind, it is a 3v2. So long as they can keep their heads on their shoulders, they should be able to win this. Sieges and Carrot right now have the team right above them. Looking for some info, nothing found just yet. Somerset's playing the wider angle here. Looks like Carrot's looking to dive on into it. Sieges has to come up and support, but no, a bad edit throws him off here. This is the pressure starting to sink in right now.
Yeah, this is just one of those things where it is taking just a rather long time. They got to be careful because in game 1, we saw how long it actually took, and then a third team rotating over, and you already see that team in the mini-map, the potential for them to continue to move in this direction. Probably looking at the feed, the elimination feed, seeing who's going down, who's getting eliminated, and kind of knowing that 2 trios land here. It's not enough names popping up. The Somerset's just trying to fight back. Back and forth they go. Carrot taking another angle, but they're just losing shield after shield, shot after shot. Not really gaining the upper hand just yet, but they turn the corner. Carrot's going to be the one leading the charge. He gets knocked down. Jez is there just trying to reposition yet again. Still a 3v1, but Jez finally goes down, leaving Doxy by himself.
I do think it's just nerves kicking in right here. Couple small mistakes happening, but as they're taking this fight, the other team's already rotated in. They have to move super quickly right now. I wonder, did they hear someone? Sieges is not sure. He at least gets a tag off, and the comms have been made.
I feel like I only see 2 of them as of now, so that might not even be a full trio. So still opportunity to fight back, but the third one finally comes into the mix. Not even a chance to loot up after that fight. It was so prolonged. I feel like Somerset and Carrot have no choice but to disengage, and they might not even be able to disengage as a team. They might have to go 2 separate directions.
Yeah, look at this. Somerset trying not to make a sound. She's already lost a teammate. I would assume right now the play is maybe get the card and get out. And you can definitely tell that this trio is feeling the nerves of the group stage. Couple small little mistakes there, whether it was an edit miss or Somerset even bandaged for 1 HP, right? Just pressure coming in. You know you get tagged. It's like going into instinctuals. Either way, this is all going to be gather the experience. Serum, Miss, and Threads just don't give them a chance to get situated, and they find themselves 3 eliminations now. And I mean, the writing was on the wall, right? When you have a team that hurt, just trying to kind of recoup themselves off of being contested, you know, that was a fast rotate too, so respects to them.
Yeah,
it only started
here we are again.
That was the first shot. Sieges just got caught off guard.
What Peterbot does, we just got to roll.
Carrot and Somerset just trying to scramble around, stay alive. Carrot doesn't even get the void off before he goes down. And by them, Somerset was just kind of stuck. They were already at Warriors box. They either heard her, tried to avoid or run away. So
honestly,
she was kind of
when I saw that it was game 11 and it was a Peterbot solo, I started having flashbacks to global championships. I started getting sweaty. What Peterbot can do when given all the right tools
now starting to get cut out of the lobby.
Remarkable, Vivid. There is no stopping him, especially with the medallion in his hand. He is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, hours ago, Resub hit the socials, right? He was like, name a better duo. And Peterbot and the medallion. I mean, it just proves time and time again. What is happening with this trio? I mean, Peterbot, insane. Solo performances have been nuts. Keeping them in the competition right now. They were so healthy going into this end game. Like 100 plus builds on each
so many teams are going to have that same plan. They choose not to.
Where are they faltering? It makes me want to kind of like freak out that we have to watch Peterbot solo clutch up when they were such a healthy trio.
Breaking out.
But yeah, I mean, Peterbot just
on the Draco.
I mean, these FNCS finals for him alone has just been a highlight
calculates it wisely along with the rest of his trio.
They have been
putting pressure down below, behind for Draco to buy his time here and heal up.
And that lead has grown and shrunk, and now it is just 60 points that separate Agers, Acorn, Poyo, and Ritual, Cold, and
now pushing in on the other side here.
What a story that has developed through these 2 days of competition.
Oracle's got him boxed up. In he goes.
I got something for you. I'm going to throw some numbers your way.
A monstrous shot there.
Okay. Going into game number 11,
what
the difference between first and second place was 127 points.
It was looking good until it wasn't.
Now they're 59
Draco now has the high ground.
They closed the gap.
Down goes Smitty. Needs to finish with a sight, and there it is. That's going to keep him up.
That game 11 right there. If we were to copy and
he's going to find a couple minis
game
on top
11
of that.
results,
Aiden's going to be left by himself in this situation.
That's all I'm saying.
Heal up as much as possible. They don't want to make it too risky of a situation, knowing they basically have this fight in the bag. And after they finish this one,
look,
because of the zone pulling so far to the south, they have ample opportunity
for whatever
to get his
reason
teammate back up. Aiden's won a long time, slipping through a lot of these builds, costing them a lot of resources that they're eventually going to have to use because they're so far in zone.
The story still is we're fighting for first, right? Poyo right now is still in first. Now, that last game didn't go super well for them, right? Like, they placed 8th with 3 eliminations, which is only the second game they've had outside of the top 6. But for whatever reason, that last game, it didn't quite work out, which is kind of weird, considering, like, at one point Acorn goes down to Tyler, and then they turn it on Tyler, and at one point, they're just fishing in 6th
to try to get Virgo back in the game. You know that team down below isn't necessarily going to go on the chase.
So, like, something didn't quite click that game, Kelly.
They might not even know exactly where they orbed off to, is what it seems like right here. But
as we think, although yes, that was their second worst
and his
game
teammate are going to be able to move back towards the Kappa factory where they land. They know it's uncontested,
so they're going to be able to get that free reboot back. That we have seen them play time and time again. You can just only hope that Agers can solo clutch so many times before he starts getting tired and can't do it anymore. But no,
talk about surge tags.
There's so much that can happen in this final game. Vivid, I cannot
a little bit of a bad peak
to
right
see
there.
what happens in game 12.
I'd be a little nervous, honestly, if I was Acorn, Poyo, and Agers. I mean, I know I kind of closed the door after game 9, game 10, when it was like 130 points. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's over. But that last game, it's got me believing again. It's really got me believing in the comeback again. And like Kelly mentioned, maybe Agers is kind of tired of these solo clutches. And
Smiley right now.
Hopefully not. He's got to keep the gas pedal down. You know what I mean? He's got to bring out one more solo performance, maybe, or whatever this trio needs. They got to have one more decent game, one better or equal to that of the Peterbot Poyo.
You kind of look at their damage dealt right now, 5,282. There's only one team that was in this lobby that had more damage. That was Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. And now that they're gone, this team right here is the damage dealer leader. And you can kind of see how they're getting it done. They're spreading out. They're covering more ground. They're making sure that when Storm Surge activates, they haven't taken a single hit of Storm Surge so far.
It is about that time. Okay, we're about to start game 12 for all the marbles. Okay,
a multitude of
eliminations. A couple things to go go in. Obviously, we're fighting for first, but still first two spots will make it to the Global Championships. This could be Poyo, this could be Peterbot here, but for all the other duos, we're still playing for crazy money.
Like this.
So cheer to the very end.
Called out being a solo.
For the last time,
can be
major number 1.
Sent straight to your doorstep at any time. He's a little close. For my liking, I think he understands that.
This is literally absolute cinema, Monster. Who would have ever thought this would be that close?
There.
One fight, that one mistake turning the tide of not only who gets first and second,
on the opposite side, that was no plays chaos championship overall.
Quick rotation.
Yeah, it really just shows you. I mean, we keep talking about majors. Gets tired of clutching, but Peterbot is the one clutching too. Here we go, game 12.
He's ready. And as soon as the zone continues to move over here, that position will get increasingly more
comes down to this.
Impressive for them.
The last and final game from Major 1. And I was hoping that it would not be a runaway train with how well Peterbot and Ritual have been playing all season long.
I like the setup right here. They have a lot of ground cover.
Cup final throughout the course of the season. And where it matters most, they're finally being tested.
Max material right now.
This is insane. I mean,
we really have a two-way
race
race for a ideal situation. And then Oak is just
here
right now. I mean, clearly Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual from the early instances of the game recognized that they needed much more eliminations, and they played like they needed it
from a surge base.
And even now, look at this. What's going on here? Power, Polis, and Listen have
This is basically where
decided that they're going to try something different this game.
So they haven't had to rotate
this
far.
Could be a blessing for Peterbot.
You add in the fact that the fishing rods,
this is their job. They know how it is. Now imagine dropping as your drop spawning in with Storm Surge.
It's almost essentially
that's been ailing them
infinite heals. You can see they already have some scattered around on the floor. So it's going to be NPen and Taki taking the role of getting Surge, while Xiao is just making sure that they have the resources necessary. So whatever damage they do take in terms of trading, they can easily heal right back up.
He hasn't done this entire tournament so far because they've been uncontested.
AR there, so talk about knowing the drop. They just immediately went
not much
shield tags, and now look, they're shielded, they're looted, and they're kind of ready to fight.
Sprinkled around the meadows, but
they're already on the hunt here, trying to see
kind of standoff
if they can find opportunity. Now looking possibly Cold and Ritual working as a two-man, so they're kind of sweeping around the outskirts these trios here. What is going to go down here? This is
time. We're really
a crazy potential turn of events here if this doesn't go in their way. Impressed with all these mountains at play, so anything.
Peterbot already taking some
happen at that
early damage. They weren't able to go into that cave and get a lot of those barrels
coming up,
and kind of the big part of the loot over towards Flooded Frogs. Who's going to go for it is the question. We've seen a few teams trying to hunker down throughout the day. See if somebody that runs past this position they can catch up here anymore. They've already taken damage to the Major 1 finals, kind of opening up. If anyone's to make kind of relieving a lot of the pressure, but in the feed, Minish is able to get 2, even with Okus getting 1. Especially since it was a team that was so aggressive in terms of the damage. One of them still going the way of Visual, Braids, and a Minish. But this one's just slowing down. They have the edge zone on their back, but they're just trying to farm up as much as possible. They have the great reason, right? They have everything riding on the line. I mean, everything many teams stacked around where they're currently
looking. Much more to gain now with that nice knock right there and the full finish. There's a Siphon starting to come in. Cole goes for the blind peek before even potentially popping the shields there.
On the lobby.
That was a 600 IQ.
They saw his teammate go in there knowing the only way out is with the orb, and they immediately pounced, taking him down. That was perfect by them. That's knowing your drop spot down to the T. Ritual gets the second one. That Paulus going down. Now Paul basically trapped. He's trapped. There's one way in this side of the map. The only other way out is through the porta potty, and already they know exactly where that's at.
Play this lobby out.
Another team coming in though from Magic Monster. They gotta be careful.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only way they can get them coming on powered literally over peak, so I think they're recognizing it's going to be a bit of a standoff. Not too concerned about it just yet. Sure, at this point in the tournament there has excellent loot. However, we already know there is so much more abundancy to go around on the outskirts, so they're just going to play their game right now.
If they want to
take the 2 eliminations, count them as a dub, count them as free points. Likely, I wouldn't even be surprised they let him reboot him and just do it again, to be honest.
Not just eliminating the boss, but quickly eliminating the boss on top of the island.
The worst situation to kind of have happen here, you kind of set it yourself towards the north side of them because of how much respect they actually command over the drop spot.
And it's not too far off just yet. They have plenty of loot to go after. couple of those islands are right above Mass Meadows as well.
All the way from Night Shift,
so as long as they have their surge down
one of these mountains, they know a lot of the teams that rotate from the south, Shoguns, Solitude, Canyon, Crossing, do like to rotate in and around this mountain.
Status still alive right here. Brando's going to be the first one to go in and get the trade-off
to the punch.
And they get the
for them, first place,
looking to fully reset in here. Now, there's
clean as possible.
Shots happening in the distance. So the crazy part is like they've already attracted the attention of much of an outlier. Peterbot has had the advantage. The only other side when he gets his hands on the medallion, I don't even think they can initiate this fight. Actually battling the boss. I'm pretty sure he just found elimination. That refresh gave him the medallion, and then it was just
there's one team, two more on the right. Even with the knock there, nothing's going to be safe.
It's just crazy how
does go down. They make sure to get max damage,
and the puzzle started to
that pump
come to image
you
there.
Don't necessarily see a ton of teams doing because they're so quick to just get the elimination, get the loot, and move on.
Bad. On the other side, the team that they're shooting at,
difference that Stormsurge has played in some of these lobbies, how close it's been from just activating on a team versus being 10 above. That could be the
difference. Trying to figure out how to replicate that, but with a team like them just kind of pounding your rotational path, your way out, they're going to have to think outside of the box. Eclipse, Batman, Boog, and Yamzo. They rotated northeast a little bit from their drop spot.
I mean, that's the reason he's going to get sent back
almost
to
in the path
of
Flooded Frogs.
That one.
This is something that they've been doing almost all tournament long. Go to the west, try to get your surge there.
They have plenty of heals for the road here.
They're going to have to box-to-box fight a lot of these other teams, and that's something that they want to save into a last resort until they're desperate for surge.
I feel like for the sake of sanity for the lobby,
some teams that thrive in the box fight scenario. However, it's always going to raise your risk.
So many mountain ranges, so many divs, even Foxy Floodgate has that huge crater in the middle.
Work on his
eastern side,
outside
though,
the Flooded Frogs here alongside Cold and Ritual, who are well on their way.
Giving good opportunity for even the teams that might not have the resources up until this point.
And they're going to be looking for eliminations here soon. I do think that they're trying to set themselves up for another,
not wanting to give the damage that they had early on,
to be honest. Continuously hitting shot after shot, but just not really able to capitalize on them.
They do have timing on their side.
For positioning. Now that he got a spot next to the water,
game of the day, Curly, Nazi, Virgo.
Yeah, and they seem to be
playing amazing so far, trying to climb up the leaderboard. They find a quick and early elimination, helping their surge game.
Not happy with.
They're just seeing everybody towards this western part of the map try to rotate around each other. Some fighting, stuck in that position. That's Prez. He might even be by himself. The Acorn, Agers, Pollo. They saw that team solo at Shogun Solitude. They continue to push over in that direction, and now they're in a fight against Guanti, NG, and Bylok.
This is very nice so far. Remember,
it's honestly surprising
some teams play well for momentum. This could be really bad for Pollo, Agers, and Acorn, given that Guanti team just took a victory royale. That's all you need to know, that you can win amongst the best of the best.
It is trios. You do got 5 extra items.
So this is, in my opinion, one of the scarier teams you can fight, given the circumstances right now in this game. I would not recommend it. Are going south towards Oliver OG's drop spot. It's going to storm down kind of huge mountain in play right now. Pressure, but the clock is ending game right now. Here. Meanwhile, the highlights show us tags continue to fold. Desi jumping in. Agers, Acorn, and Pollo here, and eating teams alive with the blade right there.
Guanti, Bylok, Edgy. They see the point deficit. Literally impossible to overcome. It's still tens of thousands.
I'm just trying to think, was he making sushi, or was he
as long as they continue to
butcher in a deli right now? Because that's multiple times today.
Obviously, good experience, practice.
We've seen that Typhoon going into major action and really make the difference.
They stick together
not only
as
securing the eliminations, but making sure that they stay alive, because how fast and quick and aggressive they can get.
This is a team that usually spends a lot of time in the zone, rotating around, getting their surge.
Now in play that I was talking about.
And for the teams that weren't instead of just directly going in and be susceptible to something that might be below the threshold. So they do make that smart decision, just disengage overall.
Called it. Teams that they were going to give them just enough time to get that pickup, and then look, they're already coming back for a Peterbot taking a one-on-one against Listen. And they made a mistake, obviously, trying to challenge this team, but Expo a little bit higher. Ultimately, you have to perform up to the standard, and this team is just not there, not yet, not quite yet. Think about a surge for Peterbot Golden Ritual. They find a third of their status in the game right now, being that elimination there. They can even double back now and continue to work for more. The zone
he was just trying to get loot. That was one of the rebooted players on that team. He thought they were gone. Right now, he said, why would they still be rotating around here? Because this is their drop.
On this high ground,
they command all the space for a reason.
Their way through
every single piece of loot by them is going to be tracked. It's going to continue to rotate through the eastern side of the map overall. You can see
definitely already noticed multiple teams rotating with the blades on foot.
of any other player so far, and just goes to show how bad he wants that first place spot, how bad he wants the 4P for first teams. They don't take the highest elevation on the side of the mountain.
The pressure is rising for Acorn, but no plays even now as they sit in
to travel around 44 HP. Shots coming from all directions. Please overbuilding right now to give themselves space. A little bit of rotating straight in. They've gone further and further south, many of these directions. Now they have to just heal up as much as possible. They do got a little bit of a rotation and make. You see everybody else in the mini map.
It's only the last 2 games we've kind of seen them do this type of strategy. So
just to stay alive right now.
I do wonder if something changes and it changes
it was worth
too quickly, how will they adapt now, given that they have the pressure of maintaining a lead right now?
For sub, that's pretty difficult to do. Down now, when the zone moves like this, you
considering the switch ups from day 1 to day 2,
investing
in the relatively almost always above that damage threshold. Really, not too many worries, and we saw them already today going down.
But there's a team right there, Champ. No one wins the exchange
because it's
to keep them in the game here. That's gonna be a lovely refresh. And just look at the heals coming through off the siphon now.
Those games really making a difference and putting the pressure on them, especially since the 12th and final game of Major 1. Gotta give DC Cooper credit for just solidifying the actual elimination.
Business as usual for them.
So much pressure. He wasn't able to heal. He wasn't able to turn around and fire that shot. That allowed him to get the siphon, get the HP up, and kind of refill himself in the situation inside of the top of the Mountain King on Xbox back with the rest of the team. And Hargu
definitely
the zone is going to pull off the mountain, but a team like this, because of their positioning, they have the luxury of being able to stagger as far and as long back as possible. Use those forward mass to remain on top of all these other teams that are going to have to rotate first.
Pretty good right now.
This is where experience has to start kicking in.
Learning first elimination, saw in the pivotal zone there. In these end games. Did he just pick his teammate up again?
Good players like this.
Like it.
I'm gonna go a little late, not too late.
They might go down as a team that was eliminated the most in any single FNCS.
Actually look up and recognize that.
In a single game with the reboots that keep coming out here.
Bila, Edgy, and Quanti.
What is Batman Booga thinking?
Just slowly
they just want to get to the zone, play it slow, play it steady.
The end game right now.
No need to go into the storm and chase the elimination here just yet.
Comfortably.
96 points down. Force some of these teams out of second place in front of you. You almost want to force them to 10 eliminations and a win would definitely overcome that gap, but you got to take into consideration elevated away from that. It would have to be just as easily Ritual going down before the game's mountain. Too many more points for that situation to be realistic. Shogun's arena. There's still a lot that these players need to start being very Mass Meadows, and now they're going right behind. They're trying to take advantage of Stakes, Oreo, and Wigs, a team that lacks just a little bit of experience.
Look at the chop that we're going for here.
FNCS final appearance, going up against a team that has the most FNCS titles.
Noxie gets the
this is what I was talking about. Royal Rangers and Acorn kind of mixing up their strategy,
more material
going south.
He starts going into overbuild mode.
Like they're kind of doing something totally different. I was curious of whether or not it was going to be successful so far.
It's W plays who has the elimination here. Quanti, Edgy,
it will definitely be worth the trouble
as well. Noxie goes for high ground here too. What is going on right now? They just get bullied off the height. This is the confidence starting to take place here for Noxie, Curly, and Aura to get that elimination.
Wig's got to be patient because even if he heals a little bit, they're going to know he's there. But they might have saw somebody separate as a solo. Trying to go to that bamboo forest, hide himself, that snake, no water in this lobby. That Oak Mask can only take these 13 just like that to take it. But more and more teams getting more and more confident to try to distance. This is not going to be an easy escape plan under the radar. You can see them orbiting to the front side of the zone, but you can see that they're also staying away from that ultimate low ground. The zone is moving up this mountain, so they don't want to waste all those materials going down just to have to go back up.
There goes the Oni-Mask. They know where he's going. They're looking to cut him off. They finally get the knock now.
And Kreese to go ahead and see if they can solidify themselves more points here. Remember, that game 1 was a complete dud.
Game 2 get a little bit of damage here. That's what matters.
But now, with game 3 placement points on the line here, they have to try to do something big here. Ocus takes a little bit of damage.
A little bit, but like you said, the damage is what they were really after.
Completely secured by Noxie and team right now.
Bonus.
To the west here.
Teams at top, two of our premier teams.
Trade.
Meanwhile, the Ritual, something that they done most of the day against Rapid, Bullets, and Kanata. We have seen them up here a few times throughout this major, but it hasn't been as consistent as this team. They were trying to go for a P piece on the Quanti, the way they had to break the wall, and they just kind of turned that one around.
They came here for
Curly, Virgo, Noxie still on high ground. Oliver still trying to stay in the front side of the zone. Noah plays DC Osprey and Chaos Gaming, the same thing, but there's so many teams above and below them. They got to watch out
and meet the trio here.
in just a couple
this
moments.
elevation, the side of the mountain. It's not going to be easy for anybody, but it's for whoever takes the passion to make it happen.
Will immediately gain the advantage of being able to pick up that medallion. Quanti still moving on this mid-ground layer here. Teams are in front of them. They have to be careful. Here comes the pressure. Open wall right there from the other teams. And now this entire team that Smiley was looking
in place here is the boss.
Noah W plays in history are there to continue to rack up points. Things are getting super interesting now. Is Noxy, Curly, and Aura starting to run out of gas up top, though?
Destroying all those builds. Those are little seconds right there.
Back and forth now. It's going even further here.
The other trio across
to the front side of the zone they go.
With all that damage.
Short dash.
Steal it away.
Ronin here, still in the game.
So smart. They got on the radar right at the very end there to get it while it was low to pull it towards them and then try to secure
doing big things here in game number 3 now.
To the boss here.
Into the end game here. Still has to steal out the timing right. Play some points. There's a team just behind the ladder.
Literally seconds.
He finds another elimination
and
there.
All that loot almost falling off the edge. They had to box it up to prevent that from happening. Left in the game. Only a few. No plays Chaos. They're trying to slide down the mountain for. Trying to move down the radar. They have a flopper left as well. They try to stagger themselves back, but with the two trios up above, eventually they are going to clash. But right now, it's Quanti by on edge because they're taking most of the pressure from Noxy, Virgo, and Curly up above. And finally, they're getting stuck outside of the zone. They heal in the game right now. Here comes anymore because they're forced to use their splashes just to stay alive here.
Notice what they're doing. They were trying to see if they could play for high ground by sticking in the zone, but Noxy caught them out. And Quanti gets punished for the play there. Or jumps down. They actually secures the loot. This is a great spot for them to be in. But look, he wants a little bit more. He's going to round more than he can chew.
What is going on
here? We'll find out here in just a couple moments.
Look, it's
just a few players left now. Actually, just one. It's Chaos Gaming, and back to the lobby. He gets sent.
Running their way up towards third place right now. Clix Batman moving Yamzo for Clix. That would be his best overall FNCS performance if he can get third or better at this point.
Asking who's going to take high ground,
still
who's brave enough, and who has the confidence.
Even if it's sentimental,
the team
career
that did it, and they took it away from Silly, King on Expo, and their trio. They waited for that perfect moment, not until the ninth zone. They not only solidified the high ground, but they got eliminations, and from that point forward, Monster, they could not be stopped. Different possibilities. Train rolling through momentarily. Clix Yamzo, Batman Blue, they're trying to take advantage of that the best they can. Creon, Zeus, and Tony, they're the ones that are struggling to make by. They have no choice but to end up in that tunnel. But Tony has to be careful. He's the solo. He stayed outside of the tunnel, and now he's becoming the focus.
Walking their way into a 10 elimination victory royale. Noxy,
almost like the whole team was trying to catch the train, but they missed it.
Big here for match 3. Zeke, we got another team
going down the tunnel.
Bro, we do, and that is crazy. You know what I like about this
is now officially
the Noxy trio were already in that top 5 in consistency, right? So now they move up, which means the rest of the lobby moves up and goes, okay, hold on. Someone at the top already qualified.
They were here
that means
for the
now everyone else has that extra opportunity
and it's in the hands of a very, very strong
Major
trio
1 finals.
well.
For this trio, I know they're feeling super, super good about this win.
I don't think it's too much of a surprise either to see this win. They had a great performance in the play, and they got 4th overall, beating out some pretty big trios for the points. And then once we saw them already get second place for consistency over the last 2 games, but game 3 there really did just showcase how smart they were playing, waiting for the right moment to take height. They get a refresh, they get some more mats, and then they just swap up these perfect TPs, jumping over. Who was it over there? I believe it was over Quanti, Edgy, and Bila, who were actually on. Or no, sorry, Noah's trio was actually on high ground, and they just perfectly execute the TP onto height, even going down, which was a little risky at one point to grab just a little bit more refreshes, but clean, easy win from this trio right here.
Acorn was
Jacob
able
MDF
to
talked
pick
about
up
the entire
just
time, right? The zones, the way they were kind of dancing around this mountain, right there when Silix's trio was on the high ground, they decided to do a little strategy, the single ramp down. They were like, you know, game 1, game 2, nobody's looking at the high ground. We can kind of do whatever we want. Noxy was like,
this is big. This is
funny.
This is
You really thought you could get away with that, so they looked up, chopped out those builds pretty easily, and yeah, because that zone kind of bounced off of that mountain into that valley, it was a pretty easy drop down for them. That on top of the refresh that they're going to get from those eliminations, of course. Take that into the end games. Boom, they pick up that dub.
moment there, Acorn was the one that saved it all.
I love it so much, but guys,
is that across
that means there's
basically
only
5 years as well?
Like, left
what is going on here?
Again, we need to be in top 5 in consistency, but the end of the day ends,
we're getting victory out, or we're going to the last chance qualifier. We'll break down more of the action from that last game after this short break. So
could
see in just a moment.
The moment in the tournament right there that sets them back for good.
And it's just like when you see something like that in the feed, Acorn saving 3 straight eliminations, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. They kind of felt it in that last game 11 where he had to go massive, not only in terms of placement, but eliminations. 3 so far for Acorn. That was the cleanup, 550 above. Another shield cracking moment. And even though they're still alive and well in terms of storage surge, you gotta imagine the damage it's doing to their resources in terms of heals.
Yeah, I mean, they were lucky enough to fight a team that had plenty, and I mean plenty of materials, so they're good on that front. That's enough to bring them back into this game, but the heals definitely looking worse for wears. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual continue to make up the point gap here by finding elimination. So Acorn, Cold, going head-to-head right now for who's going to take this Chapter 1 Finals dub home. I mean, you love to see it.
Only 47 points is crazy. The difference maker. They're just like them. I was talking about teams for 3rd, 4th. In order to get, they need to get at least inside of the top 8 while their opponent's down inside of the top 8. That same situation is arising with Pollo, Acorn, and Aegis. 19 teams still left alive. They need another consistent performance. It's almost inside of the top 8 or for their opponent to go down. But the pressure from the other side, Rapid is feeling it. Bold scrambling around. He has the medallion trying to hide his position, but there's too many teams focusing in this direction. It's all going out the window. 8 HP in a dream. Bold's trying to survive, but he doesn't know where to stop.
If anything, this is great for the rest of the lobby right here. If this medallion starts to change hands, I mean, you have to think about that. Only buffs teams like Peterbot who are looking to try to find the trio that's holding it, that obviously isn't at the caliber, right, that they are. But Bolts manages to survive here, as he should, given the advantage. But look at what it's done to their overall standing here. They lost a player. Pressure's on them now. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual on the other side of this kind of coin here, continuing to stay active, further and further away from the rest. But look, they sort of have a clear grounds to the new zone. Aegis, Pollo, and Acorn want to be the first to get there. And they can actually be one of the teams that have the luxury to do so because they have the damage. Do not forget that. This is actually a perfect aerial view as well to kind of show you where the big team names are right now. Iamzo's team's off to that west side. Yeah, Bolt and Kanata kind of on the north side looking to come down.
And if they pull another one of these zones, they're going to start looking at holding on to that high ground. It's 8 zone as Bolts and Kanata to barely get themselves above that damage threshold, quickly scrambling around. On the other side is going to be Quanti, but he has to be careful. Low ground, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual just trying to put pressure on teams above them, maybe even drop one into their box. But now it's time to rotate.
What's going on, 4FM? Welcome back to the FNCS. Game number 3 is done.
That's very interesting. They're actually fighting when they could rotate a long time ago.
My stress levels are through the roof.
They are hunting for eliminations right now. They understand what job has to be done right here. They have nothing to lose. If they went down now, it doesn't matter. They want to play for first, and of course, we're seeing them try to do just that.
We should start focusing on Major Finals, right? That's our next goal.
A solo player.
Yeah.
In his own right. Just trying to keep up with Kanata, playing much far ahead.
Giving it credit for. I think that they had a perfect opportunity. They were paying attention to how high ground was going. They executed it pretty well. And although there was a moment where they were kind of low on mats, they were able to drop down pretty confidently, get what they needed to, and then go for the win. So congratulations to this trio right here. I don't think you were shambles whatsoever, but there are some teams outside of this top 10 right now that might be in shambles.
They're trying to go ahead and make up for one of the mistakes they had earlier on the game, going down, giving up their top spot on that leaderboard.
Their other 2 games were both 4 places, so definitely doing very, very well throughout the entirety of the day. Another team that's trying to creep back up into that top 5
is getting
of the
aggressive and getting elimination points.
It's going to be Quanti,
and you know they see the feed going up. When you see Acorn,
I can't lie, you know, listen,
earn a couple more eliminations, it almost seems like they start looking for more themselves, understanding that they need to stay ahead.
Game. My money was on Quanti, Edgy, and Violent right there. I swear they had such a good position on the low ground. They were finding so many eliminations. They were working very, very well together as a team. Like, for example, right here, finding 2. Violent's got 90 builds already. Like, it just looked like they were doing so well. And then the little play where they tried to sit back into the storm and use the chug splash
because they were low on mats.
Just ended up costing them. The high ground team was a little too aware.
Obviously, they're trying to hold on to the second place.
Yeah, I definitely think zone had an issue with that as well. They just weren't in a great position, and they were kind of holding on to that second height, but when high ground has that like mountain edge, it's just really hard to be able to maneuver around it. But they went from 15th place to now 9th place as far as consistency goes. So, as far as leaderboard goes, so they are within that top 10. They are within that reaching range of making it into the Major 1 finals. So I don't think that they're necessarily feeling too stressed right now.
Off of that, by the way, Peter
That's fair, but again, it's only 107 points, right? It's not that crazy right now. And right behind them at 105,
right now.
You got Oreo Snakes and Wigs as well. So, Kelly, I'm just stressed because I know with 2 games left to go, if they make a mistake and they're eliminated, it's going to be really, really bad for them. We also wanted to kind of know that Chaos Gaming ending second place there. Again, if we could just make a second place, pair that up with some eliminations, we can start to really rapidly build up those consistency points.
Yeah, they realized that the only way to win
is DC Chaos Gaming here, another trio that's been able to kind of stick together throughout the entirety of the season so far, and that's definitely showing up here today. Having that synergy, they're just working so well together in these end games right now, and that's definitely why we're seeing them so high up the leaderboard, of course. During the play-ins, they were actually able to walk away with 4 victory royales, so I kind of expect to see a potential win coming out of them in game number 4.
Needs to keep firing here.
I mean, this should have some of the worst eliminations of the remaining teams left in the lottery, right? That's what kind of has carried through their game 1 and game 2 performance because they've been in place for the top 10. But you can see them towards the top of the leaderboard,
He's going to be impossible to track. There it is. Couple taps, so not enough. Meanwhile, Boyo Acorn is starting to dip this match here. One's going to fall, but elimination falls.
Trio that just won the game just recently happened. They had 4 games. So a lot of those points that were accumulated in those first 3 games, they're already qualified. So some of these other teams can have those top-up games and not necessarily be as effective on the consistency of the leaderboard as much because a lot of those points are disappearing against the quads.
And I think that's fine, right, Vivid? Like, I kind of feel like maybe we want that a little bit because, again, if it just gives us even a single game to try and close this gap, I mean, anything is possible. And we only have 2 games left to go. With 2 games, we just need a victory royale. We just need to put together like a second place with 9 Elis like we just saw happen. Anything is possible.
He's got to get him off.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, one I was kind of jumping about that. I was looking at Bucky, Lucas,
what is he going to do? He's
very much only had 1 good game in a second place with 12 eliminations, and they're top 5 right now, so definitely possible to still clutch up.
His teammate comes up. Cold is there to support him.
I love it, Kelly. 2 games. You're always a pro with the advice. What do we got to do? Hit me with it.
That is 6.
Go for height. That just seems to be a winning factor right now. Oh, that's it. Okay.
I didn't mean to stop giving you advice. Just, you know, that's it. Just everyone go for height all the time. Everyone right now, this game, everyone height. Here we go. Casters, do you agree? Height, are we all going for it?
But I don't know if I'm that good.
I couldn't tell you either. I'll be honest. I mean, listen, you really have to think about it.
6-foot phenom for nothing. And I think that was a huge wake-up call, Monster.
The other was there to answer
it. They held on to height, and they realized there's not too many teams
of the top 3. We know that for certain.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way that Curly and was able to kind of run away with that one, they seem pretty easily secured for them at that point. Obviously, I thought the one team had it, but, you know, they got caught out with the one play that
really is
strategy on the mid-ground.
Go ahead and take from their perspective, they knew that they needed to do something big, and they actually did it to finish in a photo win right there.
I mean, we have about
11, 12, performance, a victory out for Ritual Cold and Peterbot. We couldn't have asked for a better game, Jacob, here for match 12, but we also don't know who won.
As we start getting to the end, so let's see it here. Game I don't think anybody expected this going into Major 1. A 2-team race at the top. This has been absolutely phenomenal. Monster running out very,
Listen, I don't have anything more to say. It's been wonderful calling the shots with you here, Jacob. From us, this is the last time you're going to see us. Now you get to see Zeke,
Olaf, Max, Smiley, Noah Plays, Chaos, DC, Awesomer, the ones at the top of the leaderboard. If they win a game, that essentially opens up a spot at the bottom of the leaderboard. So even if you don't win, you play consistent enough, top 5, some eliminations, you can squeak your way into a top 10 and a Major 1 final spot.
right around that 4-team spot. Dave, Moxie, and Penta kind of holding the line, I would say, for teams that are relatively consistently earning points right now.
Number 1.
Talked about Dave, Moxie, and Penta. You can see the Demon's Dojo was a great decision for them to just secure, right?
Now, of course, we know Peterbot
they did have to fight for
victory royale
coming out of that game after
eliminations.
Of course, qualled in, but seems like things kind of settled here, and it's been nothing but uphill for them since then.
The only
nobody really wants to contest this, especially when you have 2 opportunities left. You still want to make sure you can maintain at least a chance
your major
on that top
1
5.
champions.
So we have 2 different win conditions
Agers,
overall.
Acorn,
team to team,
Poyo.
early on spots opening up. Even ones that are gliding in still have that risky play, just like this. If you have one of those far drop spots that you need to land, it's kind of the risk.
Pull that away in the last few moments.
Was just letting it rain right
the
there.
game. Oh my gosh. Kelly, I'm trying to process what I just witnessed in this game of Fortnite. In this little game called Fortnite, that's a battle royale where we build walls and brick and metal structures, and we have shotgun medallions, and we can become invisible.
This is that game, right? This is your moment.
And we just watched what is the greatest head-to-head
coming into game 5.
this game has ever
Remember,
seen.
after this is essentially a last chance to qualify
so
before
fast
the finals,
right now.
which
All
is
3
going
of
to be
us were
absolutely chaotic.
screaming before we had to jump into the call to do this cast.
Last game we really highlighted Somerset carrying Siege's
written a better story.
The ability
starting
to
off
under
the season
pressure.
with Peterbot and Poyo, the global champions, breaking up.
Now, one thing people don't really talk about is when you get sent to the lobby
that has won every major one competition for the last 2 years, breaking up, separating themselves, creating 2 new trios, and just seeing how dominant Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual were. And then we have day 1, where they don't even break into the top 3
and it's like
for
25
the
minutes
placements,
of
but
in
they
your own
still
head
get
of
second
sorts.
place. Starting day 2, getting
what
first
you can do
place,
better, and it's just an off-spawn
with game
fight.
12,
And even though right now it looks like both teams have shields, they have materials, they have an opportunity to fight it out. I almost want to see them kind of both disengage, because the longer and longer this one takes, we've seen it at least twice so far. That third-party team comes in, and then neither team realistically ends up winning that off-spawn.
To ever
That's
touch
exactly
the
what I'm
game.
thinking right now.
And with it just being a 14-point difference after that game, after so many solo clutches from Agers, after such a smart strategy that we saw them develop throughout the last 2 days, this is why I love watching the FNCS.
Setting themselves
Acorn
up for
gets to
success
continue
here.
the major
Slowly
one
and surely
domination.
crept their way
Poyo
up.
gets to keep
A
his
solid position on
consecutive
the standings. That last game
FNCS
really
winning streak. Now 4 in a row for him.
there. Another 7th place in the
gets
bag
to
for them.
celebrate as
Not as
well.
many eliminations as the previous games, but all the more steady. Exactly what we want to see from this team. Now, do keep in mind,
Poyo,
that game ended
Agers,
right on their
and
draw
everybody
spot.
had said, you know, everybody else was playing for
I was
second this major. It was a
curious
given
about how that ended up
Peterbot
playing
trio
out
was going to dominate the competition.
Prime position.
And I'll be honest with you, I got to tip my hat to Peterbot Cold
Almost feels
Ritual
like the
for
flip
a
of a
second
coin.
right
Do
now.
you rotate?
130
Do you not? They
points
chose to
behind with
rotate
just a
instead of
couple
not
of
zone
games
flip
left to go. And you
in
need
their
to tell
favor.
me you guys
Something
bought
you gotta
within
kind of learn from
14
Sharkman
points.
Elsa.
Insane. Way to
Over on
keep
the
us
side. They do
entertained
have
until
this
the
trio
very
fully
last
separated
second.
into essentially 3 different solos. They can kind of pick and choose their battle if they do want to take, and it does look like they're going to see that green light going over.
This is just
trio
unbelievable.
causing a little bit of distraction on the juke as
these
well,
pros,
giving up a 3v1 opportunity.
I'm speechless.
It does look like
I don't have any. I don't have any
just trying to
bits. I don't have any
disengage
gags.
from further and
I'm
further
just
away. Don't give up a free
blown
opportunity,
away
and he's going to find some success
what we
in just doing
saw
that
today. Let's hit these standings
not.
and just see how everything kind of placed out. Because remember, yes, you know, once again, congratulations, Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. Our major one champions, but there is still 2 spots going to global championships, and we knew going into this, and it didn't change. It was always going to be Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot. And even in those moments, Kelly, where I thought it's over, Peterbot's alone, or even in this last game, I'm looking.
Seems like others have kind of joined in the fray.
It just doesn't matter. They secured themselves that spot in the global championship for Rapid jumping on in to set down in major one. And to step forward ahead of everyone else and say, listen, we are the ones that just won globals.
and now both of us will be making that return.
Man, I believe that was Oliver's team above them as well. There's still that solo lurking around.
Globals is going to be insane this year.
He still needs to grab.
It's going to be so crazy, and we only have a
still breaking out.
handful of teams that we know are going to be making it
like
through.
They might be isolated on this side. Free loot for them. That's what they're thinking, especially with Rapid going down. Raul's going to be able to solidify that one.
I am just so proud of all of these trios. Literally every team that was on everyone's top of the list is there in our top 10. And finally, I got to see the interview from my Batman Booga, Yamzo and Clicks, and I was asking them, are you guys going to break the fourth place curse?
But they still have to be careful because not only that solo, Oliver OG's team is there as well.
That they wanted that first or second, but still they played so well today. At one point in today's competition, they actually earned more points than anyone else. They break the fourth place curse, but now it's time to go for the win.
Very comfortably positioned on the leaderboard here.
Weekend for that trio. I know Clicks has got to be extremely happy now, getting his best FNCS
so far. Up the hill they go.
That being third.
First teams moving
on
in right
game
here.
number 12 also delivered on many other fronts. The difference between 4th, 5th, and 6th was just 5 points.
Plays team that gets
3 teams kind of shuffled amongst
there, and
those
all of a sudden
placements.
now,
Uber Video and Spinks ended up in that 4th place spot. I know that they were probably hoping for better. A lot of people regarded them as the second best team on the region. 4th place, though, still very, very good.
And these are two teams I would expect to kind of rotate parallel to one another.
To see Muzz as well.
Muzz Yapko Rise come out and beat Bit. They kind of land
guys,
one at Hopeful Heights.
This was a nail biter, obviously, like between first and second. But going into this game as well, as far down as like 6th or 7th place.
A little bit of a north lean.
Wow.
The position Fortnite on these mountains, trying to take advantage of even teams towards the Kappa factory.
Yeah,
that's a whole new team over there, because that was
just such an amazing showing.
Spot that they were landing at before rotating up this side.
Fortnite fam, if you're not following them, go follow them. Go watch their streams. Go congratulate them on socials. They just put on an amazing showing for us. I mean, this was amazing. Thank you guys so much.
We just finished up the setup eliminations.
We have to say goodbye, I guess.
At 2 right now.
I know.
This is the part that sucks. And it's okay. It's fine because at the end of the day, we watched some amazing Fortnite by some of the best players to touch the game. They gave us one of the craziest stories we've ever seen, which only would have been made better if Peterbot landed on the foil. I know. I was trying to manifest it. It didn't work. That's okay.
Yesterday's with the storm surge, right? Remember,
before we say goodbye, Kelly, Vivid, I just want to give you guys the floor before we say
like Zone 3 and Zone 4.
Thank you to the production for putting this all together and having one of the best shows that we've ever had. Of course, thank you to the amazing players. A big shout out to all the players I got to interview. I love being able to have a personal connection with them. Big thank you to all of the viewing parties that we have. You guys are the lifeblood of the FNCS. You guys have provided so much incredible entertainment for so many viewers. And to the viewers as well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure being on this desk.
Yeah, it's honestly been a lot of fun. It was entertaining throughout the entirety of it. Thank you to all the players for showing up, competing at the highest level of Fortnite. Excited to see
that's Oreo, Wigs, and Snakes. They know Doxy's nearby, just trying to get out as a solo. But yes,
like I said earlier, these games are going to go by fast. It feels like I just teleported in time from game number 7 at the end of game number 12 here. Yeah, Major one.
Yeah, he's off to the races. See if he can play for a pickup.
I could not put it better myself as well.
Over the horizon.
Shout out to Monster Face. Shout out to Jacob CR. Shout out to the EU team for all that they do and the show that they put on. Shout out to you, Fortnite fan, for letting us slowly live this crazy dream where we get to talk about Fortnite and I get to be a goofy boy. I mean, man, now we just look forward to Major number 2.
However, no one here
once again, congratulations, Majors, Acorn, Koyo, Major 1 champions. Until Major number 2, we can't wait to be back with you, but until then, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe.
It's a prom there.
We'll see you on that battle.
And off he goes, and they're on full chase right now. They're not happy about that.
I can agree with you right there. I felt like I didn't even see him. We have the observer at our advantage, so huge surprise for him. A huge wake-up call. He has no choice but to move himself further and further, deeper and deeper in the zone. But he's basically moving himself towards a whole nother team. But Fuzak, Scuffy's a crook. They're going to be able to clean that one up. move far enough into zone, get the loot, then just kind of retreat back. And you see Smitty up above. He's going to go down. Another solo just stuck in a trio situation. He goes down. His full team sent back to the lobby here in game 4.
It's crazy when you're on the hunt right there. That's one of the few times the kinetic blade, perfect, right? Perfect for actually touching down first. Team Bobby and Nelf have his high ground right outside the Magic Monster, so they're going to be the team putting a lot of damage, a lot of pressure onto all these Flooded Frogs teams we just saw. Out the drop. Inside the storm, there was a team there you saw wrapping up the battle, so plenty of options to choose from here.
I like that positioning. We've seen a lot of teams trying to grab these mountainsides early, some in the zone, some not so much. But Demon's Dojo, you saw a lot of the teams at the northwestern part of the map just trying to rotate north, not directly in zone just yet, just trying to give themselves a slow rotation. Not too many teams are going to be landing above Demon's Dojo or the eastern side of it as well. So if they can find themselves unscathed on that side of the map, that will be a free rotation. We got to watch out for Deshaun, Moxie, and Penta, who throughout the course of the games after Kanata, Bolton Rapid qualified in game 1, they moved out of the lobby, and that's when they moved over to Demon's Dojo.
I feel like pressure's on for Day right now to really help his team navigate their way to finals, right? Obviously, you saw the title there. He's got FNCS titles under his belt when it comes down to this trio setting. They're doing okay after that last game, but those first two definitely rough. Meanwhile, NPen, Taki, and Ishu talk about pressure on the vets. NPen for sure has to lead this team as well. They're at 2 eliminations right now, trailing ahead.
Okay, this zone has 2 mountains that I'm worried about. 2 big mountains that I'm worried about. The ones over towards Demon Dojo and Brutal Boxcars that has the potential to pull the zone in either one of those favor. We almost got like a repeat of that last game and how much chaos ensued going up and down those mountains. But in this game, Slade, Champ, and Salt are going to be the first ones on the Shogun's Arena, trying to claim that medallion quick and early. That way they can set their eyes back on the getting surged. 70 points so far. They're at least keeping themselves in contention with these last 2 games.
Yeah, they're right about where you want to be before you're in super desperate mode and need a victory royale. They're still in the game right now, undoubtedly. Do keep in mind the teams you see positioned on that mountain to the west, that is Day's trio right there. So this island, you can see everything playing out right here. They have clear visuals on it.
I just had an opportunity. Silla, King Expo, and Jargu. They had a high ground in that last game before they were targeted and eventually pounced on, but 138 points so far. In terms of the consistency leaderboard, they entered this game in 3rd place. Now they're in the driver's seat. They're in a situation where they don't have to necessarily get aggressive. As long as they control their surge and have the correct rotations, they've been having a good day so far, and they can continue having a good day. And there's the potential to see this team, even if they don't get a VR in the Major 1 finals.
Wins or consistency, that's what's the format looking like right now. Take a look at the leaderboard right there, though. 149 is the current point lead. I'd say that's pretty on par, right? With Groups 1 and 2. It's probably going to be a little lower, the overall threshold.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to like a Group 2 style than Group 1. But with 2 games left, I mean, that means if Olaf, Max, Smiley win, Noah, Chaos, DC, Awesomer, or even this team here, Quanti, Bylon, Edgy, if they could pull out a big win here, they're just outside of the bubble, but that just moves up a team below them to have that opportunity in the final game.
Oof. Shots coming in off in the distance there. See Okus, Bucky, Craze there. Continue to play these rivers, opting to just fish it out, keep their heels up. Jump in there doing just that. This is going way far now, so obviously can't take them all to go. They're going to keep the fishing rod for the road here. Must be more water to play for a little later. And then the dead side rotate on foot.
Yeah, just might be like 1 or 2 teams they might have to worry about here going over those mountains, depending on anybody else cuts their rotation a little bit towards the left. And because of that fishing rod, that's exactly what you said. They're going to be looking for any water they can position themselves by, but they're going to get to the top of this mountain first, give themselves a little bit of elevation. That way they can scout outward. Can they go for water? Do they just keep their elevated position on the side of these mountains? You can kind of see the mark on the mini-map of what they're aiming for.
There you go. Using these Void Oni maps once again to go ahead and get forwards. A lot of bases here in the distance, so obviously want to be a little bit more careful here. Staying active onto the field, although they don't need the damage. It's got to start conditioning the lobby. Every inch you can take. It's going to be a big one, but wait a second. Teams landing on them, not content with them being on the edge, but happy to take an edge fight. A little 3-on-3 breakout. It's going to be going down. Pay attention to the feed. Meanwhile, Oreo, again, playing one of the few areas like we talked about. It's going to have that water, right? So this western side is going to be the more favorable one.
And depending on how active this lobby gets, it's almost like from here on out, Storm Surge is going to be in the back of your minds. Zone 5 is going to have to go down to 63 players. Zone 6 is going to have to go down to 54 players. Huge cuts off here, and that's where you see them just immediately trying to get as much surge as possible if they're below, or just continue to pad those stats if they're above. You don't want to have to worry about it later and later as the players narrowly escapes getting taken down. This Slepsy sitting right next to a trio that's just been progressively getting better almost each and every game.
Yeah, Okis, Bucky, and Craze right now. It's Slepsy's team being below the surge and how desperate they're acting. I mean, they have no reason to overcommit right now. Yeah, they're just walking into this trap here that Craze has set up, and I mean, this is a huge refresh. Not that they really needed it, but hey, any weapon upgrades right now is going to come very much welcomed. And they pull zone. Okay, this is a big opportunity now for Bucky and his team. Granted, other teams are now jumping up at the chance to take a mountain position here, but one might argue you cannot beat the fact that Bucky and team have so much material now to work with.
And you can kind of see the thought process right now from Sam Andija and Havoc. Do you go for that extra base? There is a little bit of distance to cover. They kind of shoot the edges to make sure nobody's hunkered over in that position on top of that surge base. And as soon as they see it's clear, they immediately rotate on over. And that inadvertently kind of helps that Bucky situation we were talking about, because that was the team that was stacked directly on top of them.
Yeah, they're thinking, why should we sit on top of this full trio? And wait, that might be an abandoned base over there, right? Get themselves some safety, some cover, some distance. But for Bucky, Bucky and Okis now, they get to decide when they want to go for high ground. If zone pulls more so like to the mountain that they're actually sitting on, I mean, they're going to be set up for a big game here from the high ground. Violet, Edge, and Quantico playing a little bit of low ground here because they absolutely have to. Below the surge, this is a great opportunity for them to pick something up, but in are coming Noah, DC Awesome, and Chaos. They've been playing very well. Quanti, Viola, and Edgy have to be careful here.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Noah plays. I think the last couple of majors, maybe it was Major 3, Major 2 of last year. He has mechanical skill, let me tell you. Pair him with the right players, he's going to be a dangerous adversary that a lot of these players are going to have to go through. But Viola, Edgy, Quanti below the surge threshold, and now is going to be active. A quick shot like that, 29 above, that's going to be the teeter-totter of emotion that they're going through. You add on the fact that they get one of the farthest pools in the lobby across the entire western portion of the map.
I was going to say a little bit of a split focus here, but Viola catches the call for the knock on the side, and they're going straight in for it. And all of a sudden, they went from looking a little down and out to being very much in the game, as we expect a team like this to be. You would think when you start looking at the lobby list, who's left in this game, right, to qualify. I mean, this is a team that surely can do it, but they have been struggling to kind of take a big lead, but this all changes now.
Almost like win or lose this game right here. More so if they don't win, this really sets the tone and the pace for them going into that last and final game of the day. If they go down early before placements, they almost need a win in order to get into the Major 1 finals. But if they have a top 5, somewhere inside of the top 8, I think they're going to be able to kind of have a calm, cool, collected average game. As Olaf smiling, Max is 193 below the damage threshold. With how well they've actually been playing and able to collect Surge, I'm actually surprised. And if this activates, it's going to be one of the first times today this trio will be taking Storm Surge damage.
Storm Surge dangerously close now to putting his team on a very bad spot. But Ronin, Oliver, and Skater are pushing through. They also needed the damage. It is just chaos down here, and there's barely space to work with. Up they go. Skater's going to go to get the full finish there. That's exactly what they needed. They needed that down body. Don't forget, another team could easily take that damage. So Skater committing there could be the difference right now that gives them room to work with. But Elsa now under pressure, bringing attention to Oliver's lair. Are they going to pick up on the fact that they could get one here? Oh, it's Noah's team shooting inwards.
That was a big and confident play by Skater. You almost wouldn't even tell that he doesn't have the most experience. Only one FNCS Finals appearance so far. He's trying to make it two. And with big plays like that, opening up the opportunity, even if he didn't get the actual elimination, is exactly what this team needs. But they get the one of the farthest pulls yet again, almost back-to-back far pulls for this trio, and they're handling themselves very nicely.
I'm not gonna lie, I found it hilarious that Noah and them had no reason to get that much damage onto these teams. They just wanted points. They were literally hunting right there. And Oliver and team were like, bruh, we just want the loot. We want to get out. They didn't need it either. You never know who's desperate on the outer edges. Okis, Bucky, and Savage, we kind of teed it up. We saw it come in off of the last refresh. And all of a sudden now, they're thinking what we were thinking. Maybe a little bit of height, maybe a little bit of front side. Don't overcommit, though. They've already seemingly put a little too much into the last zone.
Yeah, I know Vivid called it out. It's kind of a inconsistent performances. They have pop-off games. They have games they go down earlier than that they would hope. And this is one of those games. They are well above the Storm Surge. If they handle their Storm Surge well, they usually make it deep. Already top 15 secured. 2 positions worth of placement points, and there's plenty more to go. Down below them, you see Baila, Edgy, Quanti just trying to make themselves healthy. They know a rotation is going to be imminent, and that's why they're trying to clear the right side of that zone. If they can get ahead on this right side, they'll be one of the first teams to kind of lead a path to the promised land.
This is exactly what the most experienced teams do. They stay back and they carve their way through the outer edges here. Quanti and team need to continue to keep that pressure up. It ends up working out. They get Noah plays, and you see the scan come through as well. All that extra information gifted to them now. They're trying to see if they can get a little bit more for it. But no, the zone now starting to work against them here. Chaos has to move by himself. Turns back to double down onto Edgy. A little bit of a risky play there. Ooh, close one, but the heals come in just in the nick of time to get the Typhoon Blade out. And now they regather together. 171, though. You cannot be upset at that much points being put on the board for their team. Meanwhile, High Ground, I was going to bring some focus to Slayton Champ there, but it seems like they got a lot of attention already going their way. Bucky and Okis are seeing what's going down now, and they turn on Slate. What a huge come up there in the chop out as well. And this could be Okis, Bucky, and Craze's game now. But they're not sure either. They're like, wait a second, is it clear? Is it not? I think someone else might have jumped up. Oh, it was NPen taking advantage of that incredible opportunity there.
Yeah, but Bucky is somebody that doesn't let anything go. He's not going to forgive you. You overtake that high ground, he's going to be looking to make you pay just a little bit later. But forced down below, Baila, Quanti, and Edgy are out and out of this game. I believe in 11th place. That's not going to be good for them because now they're leaving it to Game 5, the last game of the day. But the tables have turned. Bucky and Okis, with how much damage they've been doing, it's high ground that's now focusing and targeting them.
Listen, they only have wood up there. It ain't looking good for NPen and team to have high ground right now. They're going to need to refresh the way Bucky and Okis are doing right now. Great little Siphon pickup here. Would have been better on his teammates, but it's nothing to worry about. He's got all the material count. Look at the reads right now. Bucky looks to be in decent form here, and he's got this whole layer to himself. Smartly played, too, to pick the natural elevation, so he's not too high up off the ground. Look at that, just completely outmaneuvering the lobby right now. Zone's going to be red. It's going to go back and cut through here, so they have to be careful now. Down to the ultimate low they go.
take note of that decision too. He had elevation. Instead of his teammates coming to him, he dropped down trying to play the hero. Others dropped down trying to follow. That Skater who gets taken down and out. Another big elimination for Bucky and his trio in this end game.
This is back-to-back 10+ elimination games now. Threads cooking here, but into the spider's web they go. Caught like an insect and devoured. The mat's going straight to Bucky, Ocus, and Craze here. Perfectly done for them. I mean, they've basically, essentially done it, but it's still a 3v3. High Ground has nothing to work with. Bucky goes up with the all-in, but it wasn't good. It's a 2v2 now, the trades. These shoot super damage, and they finish the game in the end there. Bucky, Ocus, and Craze win it all.
16 eliminations. Absolutely insane. And I was saying, looking at the stats, if they have good surge early on, they have a good placement. We saw them 800, 900 above the damage threshold throughout the course of this game, and they made sure to make it count. And I gotta go ahead and look, this is another team that was in the top 5 in terms of consistency, getting their Major 1 final spot through a VR, granting a golden opportunity for some teams in Game 5.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bittersweet to see this team go through. It was genuinely entertaining to watch this all play out. Look at how they just ran through the low ground, and then Bucky goes up, and it was actually worth it. He ends up trading off the 2. The Victory Royale falls into Bucky, Ocus, and Craze's lap here. Match 4 is wraps.
He does it again. We have a spot in the Major 1 finals. Let's go. You know what's crazy about this too, when I kind of pull up the stats here, we got a 19th place, and then a 2nd place looks crazy with 12 elims, right? A 12th place, and then right back into that Victory Royale with 16 elims. These guys were fragging. They went crazy, and now they have secured themselves a seat on the bus going to the Major 1 finals.
And there was a moment there towards the end game where it looked like they were potentially going to be going for height, but the awareness that they had, knowing that there was another trio there, although they were able to chop who had to height initially, they knew that wasn't the right call to go for height in that play. And it definitely ended up working out for them. Going on the low ground, getting elim after elim, allowed them to just keep up with the loot, have the heals, especially because at one point they got really low. But by staying on that low ground, they just had infinite loot to deal with.
Yeah, what an incredible run there out of them in that late game. I mean, Jacob called it out, a total of 16 eliminations during the 10th zone. They had 6. They found 10 eliminations in the final 2 moving zones right there. And I got to give a big shout out to them, right? Because I feel like we've been kind of watching similar to like the same thing happen every single game, right? High ground kind of just bullies the low ground teams throughout the entirety of the end game. But finally, the low ground took it to the height team. They were able to overcome the disadvantageous positioning down there. But because they found so many eliminations, they were able to just go up. They were all healthy, fight for that, and win the 3v3. Congratulations to Bucky, Ocus, and Craze.
So much chaos going on the low ground here too, and they really just took advantage of it. Everyone dropping down, kind of just like fish in a barrel right now, able to get elim after elim. It just looked so easy for them. And even when it came down to the 3v3, they knew that High Ground did not have the ability to really handle them. Just look at that, just the following, the tracking of where that last player was going to go. They played that so excellently.
Yeah, they just had everyone's number right. It didn't matter who. We saw a couple players, right? We'd cut to them as a solo, like, here we go, they're going to make a play, and they were just ready to shut them down, ready to isolate them, and immediately funnel all those materials where they needed to go. And now we'll be seeing them in the Major 1 finals. What a crazy time to be alive. Now, with that being said, we only have 1 game left to go. But first, we have to go to a break. When we return, standings and the last game out of Heat 3. So we'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back, Fortnite fam. The last game of the day. You know what? I'm just adding 5 more games on. We're just gonna go for a lot more. We're just gonna another 4 hours. Okay, we're just gonna keep the ball rolling. In all seriousness, though, last game of the day, and in case you missed out on who won the last one, Bucky, Ocus, Craze got themselves a 16 elim victory royale. I'm sure they're popping off. I'm sure they've got reactions on their socials, so make sure you go find them. But now we have to turn attention to this last game. Friends, we do not want to take it to the last chance qualifier. We want to try and just take that seat from the bus and just secure the spot to Major 1 Finals. I'm stressed.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these other trios are as well, dealing with the situation at hand. And obviously, as the games go on, as we reach the final opportunities to get that confident ticket into the Major 1 Finals, strategies start going out the door. Everyone starts going off the handle. I can't even imagine what the end game is going to be like for game number 5. But there's just so many teams that we have here in our top 10 right now. I mean, look, Quanti, Bila, Edgy in that 10th place spot right now. And although it is 6th through 10th that do move forward into the Major 1 Finals, you don't want to be in 10th spot right now, Vivid.
No, you definitely do not. And, you know, to shout out one of these specific teams right now, I remember Zeke kind of talking about this. Oliver OG, his trio up there, currently in first place on the consistency leaderboard, right, with 184 points. And, you know, Zeke mentioned earlier, this trio is just getting better every single game, and that has stayed true. Game number 1, 10th. They followed up with a 7th, 5th. So they just had their best game. So now they're kind of sitting comfortably, right? They've established a blanket that they can use. But I'm not going to lie, Kelly, this leaderboard is very, very close right now. 184 points. It looks good right now. Can it hold?
Yeah, and right behind them, just by 1 point, it's Noah W. Plays' trio there. So it definitely seems like our standings have a pretty strong top, like it's very top heavy right now, where there's only, you know, 10, 12 points separating 5th through 7th. But it's also pretty close from 15th all the way to 10th place. It's just 40 points that separate them. And we've seen these crazy Game 5 clutches from Group 1 and Group 2, where 70, 80 points, even without the win, is gained through the final game right here. Looking at the page, the second page, these are the teams that are going to be pulling out any crazy strat that they can. And there's some big names here. We got Degens in 18th place right now. Day is in 13th place. I can't imagine Day, Penta, Moxie not trying to go all out in this final game.
Yeah, I mean, right now that top 5 sits at 150 points. So technically speaking, if we're talking like a Cease Clutch, who when he picked up 80 points, we could work our way all the way down to teams that have 70 points. Look how much that opens up the possibilities for a clutch out of any of these trios. Just love this format so much because you can clutch up on the consistency leaderboard, even though you're supposed to do good every single one of these games, just because of how the lobby's playing out, how well you can actually do in one of these games. It's possible to clutch up via that. And then, of course, it's possible to clutch up via a win as well.
What's crazy, too, is if we did see, you know, one of these players already in that top 5 consistency, if they moved out, we're going to continue to see all of those, you know, heavy point teams move out. And then again, we're kind of trickling down going, okay, well, who has points, right? Like if we're taking all these big points off the leaderboard, this could come down to like this final game, right? This could still go any which way, and I'm very excited to see it. We wanted to talk about a trio specifically, NPen, who in this last game got themselves a 2nd place with 5 elims. Again, we kind of see these trios ending the game in that 2nd place, not quite getting the victory royale, but it's still important to like hit those numbers, right? To hit those elims and placement, because if we push this to a Major 1 Finals, it's going to be consistency that wins you that Major 1 Finals and the spot to the Global Championships.
Yeah, NPen's trio holding height there, and we've seen it in the first 3 games that pretty much the trio that had height towards the end was able to pull out the victory royale. But when you're going up against the 3v3 against a trio like Bucky and Ocus, it's just curtains for you. There's no way that you're going to be able to take that fight, and I think they even knew that.
Well, listen, curtains are closing very, very fast here. Only 1 game left. I'm not going to lie, in game number 4, height was looking a little contested right there. And with a lot of these teams only possibly winning through a win, I'm imagining it's going to be a lot more chaotic this game.
Oh, why would you say that? The stress levels are through the roof, but it's okay. We got 2 friends who will walk us through this last game.
So find your seats on the battle bus. Monster D face Jacob PR. Over to you.
I'm looking forward to it. We've gone through different groups, and now the final group and the final game is here. Couple of names that we definitely want to see pop off here are going to be Day's team, Edgy's team. There's so much that can happen still, Jacob.
Yeah, there's anybody's game, especially since throughout the course of the day, a couple of those teams winning the VRs were inside of the top 5, including Bucky in that last game, 5th on the consistency leaderboard, opening up the spots, giving us an opportunity for an entertaining finale of a last game in group stages, and the battle bus is ready. Let's get into it.
If you find yourself sitting up in that 184-point spot, the way Oliver, Dash, and Skater have been, they should be all but qualified, as well as Noah W Plays, Chaos, and DC Awesomer. I am going to be keeping close eyes, though, on Enpen, Ishu, and Taki. Do they have enough to coast their way to the end? The question is up on the menu right now, but take a look at this. Drops are being shifted right now. Siege is carried in Somerset, going for the Foxy Floodgate after Bucky's team qualifies here. So this is a brand new spot opening up. I love that we are seeing them actually mix it up right now. We talked about this. Was it going to be worth it to see this happen sooner?
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. Bucky, Ocus, and Craze qualify out of Foxy Floodgate, a thing that were contested and fighting already throughout the day. And from one fight to the next, Somerset, Siege, and Carrot said, you know what? Last game of the day, let's put it all on the line. They alpha up and take the best part of Foxy Floodgates. So not only they're going to be able to get all this loot, the metal, the most precious and valuable resource is going to be down there for them to gather.
And you know what? Can we all agree? That was a perfect drop. All three of them mastered that. They touched down at the same exact time. So fast, in fact, that the other trio was like, all right, you got it. And they just backed off, taking the other side of the drop. Well played for them. Well, look, this is going to keep things exciting for us here. Meanwhile, Oliver, OG, Dash, and Skater, we talked about that team that's in the lead with the points right now. I mean, they are just neck and neck with Noah's team. And it's really cool to see the differences in the story, right? Oliver's team, very consistent placement-wise, but Noah's team has had so much more eliminations overall, really carrying them up the standings there.
Yeah, and you kind of look at a team like Oliver. They had 17 finals appearances throughout each and individual pairing of that team. As a trio, they had one finals appearance this season to practice what they had, and they're really making it count every step of the way. Fredis is trying to do that same thing, disengage on out. They lost the overall battle at Shogun Solitude. He's just trying to stay alive. And the big thing for him is that the zone is pulled over in this direction, so there's going to be a lot of time for him to try to do that.
Interesting to see that he already had a couple eliminations too before they got out of there. Just giving them at least a little bit of an edge on the points here, but if you're down in the 40-ish area, you're going to need a win. What we saw happen in all the other groups come Game 5, they were fast-paced. Teams were trying to depend on closing the gap and pushing their way into the top 5 consistent-wise. I'm almost getting the feeling that this is going to be the most stacked game of any group because it's the last chance, last game, no more groups, all eyes on you, and we're going to see teams go for the win as opposed to the consistency points.
Yeah, I was just saying right now, DC just get a little bit too close for comfort against the solo player that kind of naturally lands over there. But this is what I'm talking about, the Hopeful Heights and all of the surrounding space. DC kind of leaves his duo to loot up the actual POI, and he loots up all the area around. There's the 2 turtles there that give you a good amount of chests, good amount of heals. They have the water sprites, and then if they can replenish a lot of those water sprites if there is a shrine nearby. Easy looting.
Gotta play for that shrine. Hopeful Heights for DC Awesomer, Chaos, and Noah here has been very nice for them. Looks like Rapid found another elimination in the feed there, so I finishing up what he started over by the Shogun. Meanwhile, Quanti, Viola, Edgy here. Got to see a good amount of their play. They seem to have only gotten better as some of the other teams were slowly making their way out of the lobby. Last couple rounds being pretty decent for them on the elimination side of things, but it's just placement points holding them back now. But if they can keep up the pace, they'll be in. They will have to worry about like teams like Silic, though, right? That have been right on their heels, playing ever so consistently, and then bam, they drop the game. And now all of a sudden, Quanti and crew are up in that spot.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that quick stat to the last remaining team with the most experience in this lobby with 38 FNCS finals. The next highest team after that is Havoc, Sandman, and Degen with 17 finals appearances, and 15 of them are Degen alone. So when you talk about experience and kind of being able to use that to propel yourself forward, this is a team you should have your eyes on here in Game 5.
Oh, Somerset, Sieges, and Kara have their work cut out for them, though. Once again, they're met with 2 different trios. Make it another off in the distance here. And wait a second. Is that G's? What are they doing here?
Same ones.
What are they doing here?
With the mix-ups that's been happening so far, Eulogy takes a big shot. He's trying to hunker back, but it's these spots right there where you're just kind of stuck, crouching. Doesn't fully go up a mountain, so you're just there. Somerset was the one that got the first knock onto G's, kind of enacting a little bit of revenge from that contested spawn earlier on in the day at Warriors Watch, taking it elsewhere. Oliver OG was the other team you were mentioning, trying to third-party work their way in. A couple quick shots onto Oliver, but he's the one that's by himself. You see the duo in the mini-map trying to take another angle. That's where they're hoping to have a strength in numbers to solidify some damage.
Do keep in mind, Gary, G's, and Doxy just land a little to the west. The Warriors Watch is right there. Like Foxy and Warriors Watch are right on top of each other. And you got to think about it. With Somerset's team not landing there, they probably panicked. They're thinking, wait, how are we going to get our damage, right? So for them to move in this quickly makes sense. But my gosh, I'm sure Somerset is thinking, what are you guys doing at the drop already? When they were already in a fight with another team. Serum missed in Threads here. Just further west, fighting at the Night Shift Forest. Again, other teams that have kind of mixed up their drop come on in and have tried to make best with these end games. It's one of the teams that have had a little bit of success here. Going up against Sharkman, Elsa. It seems like Sharkman might be out of the lobby right now.
He got taken down by Mist. Basically separated, ripped apart from the rest of his trio. You can see Threads with Mist. Serum's just trying to take a different approach towards the top. And this is something you see a lot of our Tier 1 teams actually do in terms of when they are fighting box to box. 2 of them kind of stick together. A third one goes towards the top and tries to take the cones, kind of boxing them in. Even if they have the floor, they can't get out through the cone. And then they kind of converge, force them, sandwich them into where they want them to be.
Looking at what's happening right now. Team's just waiting this out. Trying to look for a chance. Even though they have the advantage, this is what I was talking about. I genuinely believe the pressure is on right now to just make sure you win this game. Looking down at the Warriors Watch as well, seems like Somerset and team might have went back to their trusty home base, so things are setting up well. They can hear the shots. Teams are looking to edge their way towards it. Reds, Mist, and Serum are going to be in for a world of trouble if they can't quickly convert here.
Yeah, just going on the chase on the Rao. Typhoon Blades makes it much harder to escape rather than if you had a Void Mask. And there goes that trio that you were talking about, trying to get some shots into the mix.
Yeah, it's actually G's and Doxy. They got the pickup and they came back.
It's unfortunate for Rao. He really got chased around. Like I said, with the Typhoon Blade and the Kinetic Blade, it doesn't allow you to escape as quickly and as smoothly as you had a Void Mask. So they're going to be able to go down. One player's at least staying alive as a solo. That puts a lot of pressure to get these reboots and have a good game here in the last one of the day.
After this, you will be sent to the last chance qualifier. So tournament runs coming to an end. Get back to that fight that we just moved away from. G's, Gary, and Doxy, so after getting picked up, they've already began to reinitiate the battle here. I'm actually looking to pull up the standings. Where does that actually put G's in this team here? Because they've had, obviously, a lot of off-spawn success. They've rode that momentum. Okay, so they're actually came into this game with 90 points. That is not bad at all. They are very much in the fight right now. And if they can get this elimination, they'll be up towards 100+ points, which means that they can very well take that 5th place consistency spot on the standings.
Yeah, I think Cease's clutch from the first day just goes to show that you can never really count yourself out. And it wasn't just a 30, 40-point clutch. It was 80 points.
Yeah.
That's almost like getting the actual win with a couple of eliminations. That goes to show how much work they actually put in. And it just kind of gives hope to a lot of these teams all around. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how bleak it is, you can't give up because you never know what can get tossed your way. But as soon as they try to disengage outward, deeper and deeper into the zone, they immediately get focused by a team that was waiting for an opportunity to do just this.
Yeah, to be fair, even Bucky's team, I mean, they got bodied game number 1 and then still kept their heads up and all of a sudden popped back off with multiple 10 pluses, and then the win.
Pen, Taki Nichao, kind of a risky spot to be in here considering your position on the leaderboard, but at the same time you don't really want to change up too much that was working in order to get you here. These early game scuffles, this is how they were getting some surge. Even if they didn't necessarily get the eliminations, the damage that matters most. It's getting a little bit too messy for their comfort, so they're going to disengage, move further and further towards the south of the zone because they know another team is positioned just outside of Seaport City.
The bigger problem is look at all the brick and metal that was spent in that build right there. Isho barely has any heavy mats to work with right now, so to farm back heavy material after being at a drop like Misty or this Meadows here, I mean it's already kind of scuffed. So
yeah, I know for a fact there's no metal. There's literally no metal over here.
Not the place to get situated there. So for them to use what they could, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for them. Meanwhile, Silic Expo in Jarg, I mean, they really have, I would say, have been the most surprising team on the day. One that I didn't expect to just come in and play as well as they have.
Yeah, and they're only about like 9 points down overall. Well, let's make it 6 after that elimination. Quickly moving up the leaderboard, taking opportunities. You just got to make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew. Almost let your opponents make the mistake. Let the nerves get to them. Oh, the zip line, trying to destroy some builds and really catch them off guard, but they're just too close to that low ground that the zip line isn't really going to cause that much destruction to their builds.
Take a look at things. Still 27 teams remaining in this game here. We might actually be working our way towards another storm surge potentially. We're right on the line right now. So we edge our way towards zone 4. I think Threads missed this here. I'm just watching, and then they ambush Desi, but Desi quick with the builds there. Flow and bow shot now. Everyone kind of basing down here. What a huge risk. 120 points to be taking a storm fight right now. They're not even cap material. They're really depending on finding a refresh right now. This is a very questionable position they've now put themselves in, as they are running out of time to actually get good material for the mid and the end game.
Yeah, they're going to have to kind of loot up scraps that are left behind, whether it's fruits and vegetables that you could forge, bandages, med kits left behind. Luckily for them, it's not too far till they're actually in the zone, but then they're going to have to rotate again in about 25 seconds because you see the zone, the edge of it isn't actually there. So they got to be able to act very, very quickly if they want to get themselves some good position inside of the zone, especially since all these other teams are really beating them to the punch.
See what's going on here. Got the shrine. Maybe turned in the spirit.
Replenish those charges. And as soon as he rotates, he just kind of gets tagged up just a little bit. And you can see in the distance, Sieges, along with Carrot, kind of getting their surge base ready, not too far off from the Shogun's Arena Island that just actually spawned up.
Like they were getting to see a little life out of Carrot and Somerset's team there. 4 below for Dragon. This is not looking good. And it was because the reboot's gone off. We jump up to 80 players, so seems like we are definitely going to be in for some trouble here. Only 93 above for Prom, Mafia, and Status, so they're very much neck and neck right here. They could be the two teams that are going to juggle this back and forth right now.
And this is such a unique and weird spot to actually fight at. Kind of tavern underneath Magic Moss is, to where there's only really one way in up towards the bottom unless you take the porta potty. That kind of leaves an all-out fight. The Typhoon Blade causing a little bit of confusion. One's going to go down. One's going to be left by himself. Fishy making sure to watch back, not to get surprised before they all turn and burn, getting a full team elimination. Something that they actually needed for how their games have been going today.
Definitely going to bounce them right back into things, and more importantly, eliminate the Surge from being active. All right, well, Champ, Slate, and Salt here seem to have secured the boss, but they got the attention of another team, that KBG trio that was down low, and decided to come on up, possibly to help with their rotate. Take a look at the highlight here. Oh, it was off the backs of a full-on fight.
They're just a duo up there. Full trio makes their way on up there as well. Still kind of stacked up. You see the medallion was already solidified, so the boss is not going to play a role. Depending on who has it here in this situation, they could definitely try and make a play. Isolated from the rest of the map so high up. But as Champ and Salt trying to make sure that they hold their angles. There might even be more than actually two teams up here. Might even be three.
Yeah, KBG Beza is a completely different trio. Yep. Crook and Scuffies right now are eyeing up Champ and Salt. Slate's already out, so this is a duo down low, possibly the full trio sitting right above them right now. Crook wants nothing to do with this. And it is a full trio. Beza, Vindich, Bola. It's just popping off right now.
Yeah, I like that play from them. Just get out. They got the medallion. They got the boss, the extra heals that are up there. There's no real necessity for that position, especially if the zone moves on over to the east. But for Bola, Vindici, and Beza, 486 damage above the threshold. And it's almost a blessing that so many teams were up here, because how many times, not only this weekend, but in Group 1 last weekend as well, we saw teams try to take this positioning up here, but it actually caused them a little bit of detriment to their game plan because they were unable to actually get the surge that they need.
It always comes down to the surge in these high-level lobbies. This one particularly, like I said, just shaped up a little bit differently for Game 5 of Group 3 because there are no more chances. Just feels like a lot more pressure than usual riding on these teams right now. Oh, look at that. This is a bad spot for Ishu, Taki, and NPEN to be in. They were in third on overall consistency. Now they're below the surge. They have to take the fight here. Big time to really prove that they have what it takes to be in the finals right now. NPEN has been here before. He knows how to handle these situations, but can Ashu and Taki remain under control, remain under their composure? Noah W plays the other team on the other side of the wall. Okay, that's a team that's had pretty much nothing to lose right now. Very intense standoff here.
Yeah, this is just a nightmare situation to be in. 200 below the damage threshold. And even if you somehow survive, all your resources go out the window. And exactly like you said, they have zone right now underneath a bridge. Their opportunity for getting Storm Surge in the distance is non-existent. They have no choice but to fight this box-to-box. That's why they keep pushing themselves forward. Noah plays just trying to disengage his reposition, but he goes down. That was a massive shot coming out, but it is going to be a trade. They try to go ahead and converge, save the body, but Taki goes down. NPEN is out as well. Ishao now stuck as a solo with the game and FNCS on the line in terms of group stages.
This is bad for Isho right now. I was wondering if they can handle the pressure, and it's NPEN and Taki who were the first to fall there, to be cracked. And somehow Noah just slips out the side. Hey, well, look, he's got the damage he needs. They did pull the zone, so it's not completely over. And it does seem like Ishu might be able to, you know, secure most of the loot here. Yup, there it is. This is what's important, is getting the material. Oh my gosh, almost completely caught out there. And now keyed in by DC. The other team has a chance to bounce back. And that's a sweet surprise for Ishu there. I don't think they expected Vex to be waiting behind the other wall. What a messy exchange here, but no way Noah gets another pickup here just to keep them in the game, keeping things interesting for us.
You know what he's saying right now is you got to never back down.
Oh, no.
Never give up. Ishao's trying to do the same thing. 126, needs a perfect headshot, and just timing wasn't there. You got about 7 seconds in between Storm Surge ticks. Once that one brings you down to under 25 HP, you're on the clock.
All right, Jacob, well, here's a question. Is 171 points going to be enough? There is 20 points roughly separating them from 8th and 9th. So it's looking kind of good, but at this point, for them to really feel comfortable, I think they need Oliver OG to win, or somehow Noah W plays in them to bounce back and pull a victory out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because you kind of look at Group 1, Group 2, 205, and I think about like 180 something was the point threshold. Both of those higher than the 171 point mark. So it's just kind of one of those things where you're a team like them, you just got to sit and watch and kind of just hope everybody else makes mistakes. Quanti, Edgy Bila, another team under them on that leaderboard in the hunt to try to steal away the spot. And again, they find themselves in a peculiar spot. Barely 30 above the damage threshold for Surge, which is surprising for how much experience this team actually has in finals lobbies.
I see Somerset's name still up. I see Oliver OG there. I'm scanning, looking for Moxie or Day. Oh, man, it's like the team knows exactly who I want to watch here. Penta and Moxie are still up. Day is actually out the game. Makes sense as to why we couldn't see him. Meanwhile, Carrot actually finds elimination there. Could we be seeing the writing on the wall right now for a miraculous comeback for Carrot in Somerset there? We'll see. Meanwhile, Moxie, though, hunting right now. 173 above. Oh, and they pulled a full zone, so a little bit more damage, and they'll be very much comfortable. However, for now, they have room to work with.
Yeah, this is like another team where you have an experienced superstar on the roster leading a team of just young and hungry players. Where Penta's only had one finals appearance so far, Moxie figures out a way to make it work along with Penta and Clutch Up. This will be his first FNCS finals appearance. And right now, they're in a good spot, 173 above the damage threshold, considering that they are a duo.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good for being a duo, but they will need to make an end game. This is where things start getting really intense. 101 above, one less person, obviously in the team to scout and help navigate this end game. It's up to Penta here to take the lead here. He's going to be the one making the shots, calling the rotates.
You can kind of see where they're aiming at.
In the walls there, too.
Oh, man, what a final game. We're going up the mountains just south of Brutal Boxcars. Already there's going to be the mountain in play, the hill. Luckily, it's just going to be a small one now and not even at the tip top. But Penta, he gets 2 quick eliminations there late in the game, trying to get themselves back into it. Oliver OG and Skater, another team at the top of the leaderboard, ripped apart from their trio, forced to play a duo game out.
Bila, Quanti, Edgy, low ground right now. Find a great refresh here. This is going to put them right back in the game here. Very, very nice. Meanwhile, shots coming in. Somehow they find it to be the focus from the mid-ground layers and the low-ground teams on the side. Wait a second. Okay, luckily, those extra mats definitely coming in handy right now as they have the material to burn here. Things are going to bounce back towards them, so this is why they don't really want to give up this spot just yet. Edgy takes the risk, though. He jumps in front, secures the loot, secures the mats. He's got it all. Can't stand in wood, though. You see what happens when you do. All focus starts to come in now.
Yeah, they're in the front on this rotation. They're trying to keep themselves in the front, and that's why they were trying to make that risky play to try to slide their way through, knowing that as long as they keep moving forward, they will have the advantage over every other team that is going to be on that low ground. But let's look at Hyde for a moment. Sandman, Havoc, and Degen, 98 points. This is a team that needs a good game here in order to make sure that they play in the Major 1 finals.
I'll be honest, I think they need the win to be real frank here. Another team that needs that win is going to be King on Expo if he can't secure a lot more points here and now. Place of points still going. No way, I saw Somerset and Carry off in the distance there. This is a crazy game right now. A lot of teams that need that dub here are in the run. This is a insane play so far for King on Expo. He's just trying to do everything he can to stay in. Oh no, Carrot's down, Sieges is down. Not looking good for King. He dashes out. He's got a little spot to work with here. 6 mats left. Still keep it alive here. Top 12, top 11. Points are adding up. He's clutching right now heavily for his team. Let's not forget, NPen was at 171. We already know if the team goes down now, they're going to be right on the line to be pushed out of top 5.
Yeah, KeyGone Expo started, I think it's 7th place on consistency. Their tournament is literally on the line here for a solo clutch, and he's figuring out a way to gather placement points with every team that goes down. There's another one, but no, it was actually KeyGone Expo down in 11th place. But now it's Quanti, Edgy, and Bylaw's time to shine. They did more than enough zone after zone in the most recent 2 to not only get the front side, but replenish materials, and another elimination coming out from Bylaw.
The dream could still be alive for NPen's trios. They sit and wait. If Quanti, Edgy, and Byla win this, it's going to be all the more contentious on the standings. However, Oliver OG is still in this game right now. Anything can happen. Meanwhile, DJ and Sandman, Havoc from the high ground are clawing their way right up the standings here and into a potential win situation now. Chaos still alive here. Look at the points they've earned. They've surely done it.
There's only two full trios left in this game, and we're watching one of them on the low ground trying to persuade people to move in, and Chaos Gaming's going to take the bait. He gets taken down overall. Their 6th elimination, looking for more. Oliver OG in their sights, and they're trying to pressure him, force him to the backside of the zone. He moves down, and they move along with him. They want this elimination. They want the resources. They are hungry.
I mean, listen, they're the vets in this lobby, and for good reason right now. They have earned themselves plenty of points, and they kick down Oliver OG while they work their way through this last game here. Last opportunities now. Take a look at the bird's eyes view. It's Sandman, Havoc, and DGen from up top. Jido, the only one in between the 2 layers. He should be falling next, and then we're going to have a big 3v3 go down.
Yeah, there's so many builds here, so it's easy to get lost in confusion. But Edgy, he has the medallion, sneaks up on the solo, gets the elimination, 3 more points, but they need the win. They need to go even harder on this one, and now he's ready for the challenge. He moves up for a side shot, misses that opportunity, but one's gonna go down. Bylaw makes the play, Sandman's no more. Edgy's tracking shot after shot before finally going down. DGen says no more. Havoc gets the knock. They go back to back. Quanti's now by himself. 1v2 situation, but they are absolutely in shambles. No health, no HP. Quanti's trying to void orb towards the outside. Give him a little bit of an advantage. He turns back, trying to get the beam. He needs it. He needs one of the knocks, but he does not get it. DGen clutches up, and another final appearance is underway.
So Quanti had the great play to try to play the side angle, but all he had to do was wait a couple moments, and he could have won just by being the healthier team. But in the end, they have to sit back and see if they did enough. Was a 2nd place game enough to put them inside of top 5 when they started this just near the top 15? What a game 5 that was. It's going to be keeping us on the edge. DGen, Sandman, and Havoc, though, you have to give them the ultimate respect here for playing high ground and almost flawlessly taking it through to the end. Look at that catch onto Skater there, caught on the replay. And at the end, they almost threw it all. Edgy was cooking, but he missed the shot that mattered most to finish off Havoc. Take a look here. DGen was even willing to put it all on the table and push in, but he won that game. Match 5 goes to Havoc, DGen, and Sandman. Congratulations on your victory out in your finals position now. Jacob, what a group 3.
Yeah, you said it one time during the course of that game, and I just saw it again in that replay. They needed the victory royale to get to the Major 1 finals. They simply did not have enough points going into that last game, and that right there, my friends, is how you take control over your own destiny. But that's going to be it for me and Monster D-Face for our group stages. We got to go ahead and bring back in our analysts to let us know what 5 teams made it in through consistency.
MDF just leaning back in his chair right there. I don't blame you, brother. That was a crazy end game. As Jacob pointed out, coming into this game, DGen, Sandman, and Havoc, they were 19th place, okay? If they did not get that victory royale, that's it. They have to go and fight their way through the last chance qualifier. But for them, they got themselves the victory royale. And now they don't have to think about that last chance. They're only thinking about Major 1 finals.
I am so excited that this trio made it through. Degen has been a long-time veteran. Actually, one of the first shows I ever did for DreamHack. He was one of either the first or second place back when he used to play with Agers. So I love to see him still being able to prove that he is a top competitor in the FNCS, and to do it by the skin of his teeth, by getting that final win of the day. You just love to see it, Vivid.
I mean, the pressure must have been on going into the last game, trailing by 60+ points behind that top 5 team on the consistency leaderboard, right? They had to have been feeling it a little bit, but embracing that, right? Going for the higher ground in the final game. And I'm not going to lie, I was completely wrong. I called it out. I was like, a lot of teams are going to need the win. It's going to be crazy on the higher ground. No, Degen, Sandman, Havoc, they just had control of it the entire time. And of course, the final 3v3, Degen gets 2 knocks out in the storm. Being well aware of that on the other side of things, tries to go for the Bloom battle there, but does not win it out. Degen wins it and goes to the finals.
Absolutely crazy. Now, of course, that begs the question, right? Did Quanti make it? We'll get there first. Let's remind ourselves of who got themselves the victory royale. We had 5 matches today, which meant